My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
It's 12:37 a.m. And I want to be clear, it's 12:37 a.m. The Ontario Police Department, this is immediately turning down the volume of this demon that is stalking by helicopter. The entity is engaging in ongoing terrorism and stalking incessantly by helicopter, and it is more pathetic than a child seeking attention. The entity wants to stalk and terrorize me. All right, this is the Ontario Police Department that wants to stalk me, but does not want me to capture them on video while they are stalking in the same way they were, while they were flying in a circle, talking about Stater Brothers when they were nowhere near Stater Brothers. All right, so right now at 12:37 a.m., the moment that I start capturing video of it, the volume of a helicopter, which has been continuously sounding over me, immediately turns down in volume. All right, I want to document that. This is ongoing terrorism, and my documentation substantiating I don't have to make up any tales. That's how pathetic the Ontario Police Department are. That's why they're stalking me using helicopters, and they're going to federal prison. It's 12:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, that's the stalker, 12:40 a.m. I'm glad they keep racking up them federal charges. That this is the same stalking that they were engaging in while they were flying in circles, using a spotlight and talking about Stater Brothers like they were doing something else. They weren't. It's pathetic. All right, and that's the same stalker sounding helicopter activity while I'm capturing more video of it. That's the Ontario Police. And by moments later, I mean it's 12:40 a.m. P.O.C. Galvin, what's your badge number? Can I get your badge number, sir?
20109.
20109? Okay. And Galvin, you're telling me it's a crime to be sleeping at the museum, right?
Yes.
All right. And you were standing right in front of me. How long were you standing over me before you decided to speak? Hello?
Are you going to leave or?
I am. I'm getting your public information, right?
I gave it to you.
Galvin.
Yes.
And that's your badge number?
Yes.
And I was asking you a question. How long were you standing over me before you decided to speak?
Okay. Do I have to answer that?
Yeah, that's very threatening conduct. You were standing right here at the foot. My foot felt your shoe. You were hovering over me.
Sure.
And then you're speaking about a crime. I find that very interesting. Are those your helicopters flying over me while I'm at the museum where you're supposedly here? You don't know I was here, right? You just suddenly walked. Yeah, the Ontario Police Department helicopters. Oh, are those your cameras?
No.
So why are you referencing the cameras? Why are you referencing the
How do you
cameras?
think we know you're here?
You just said those aren't your cameras. Are you looking at those?
How do you think?
That's why I was asking
you.
you. How did you know I was here? That's a question. That's a good one.
Because the people here complain about people sleeping here all night.
What people?
The people that work here.
Oh, they were here last night watching their cameras?
Possibly.
Oh, okay.
You know
All right.
why?
This is.
Because the crime happens throughout the night here. People vandalize the place. They
Oh, really?
break windows.
Uh-huh. That's referred to as what is criminal summoning, first of all. And this is the Ontario Police. This is Galvin, who is engaging in, he's bearing weapons, present pursuant to what is criminal summoning, hovering directly over my sleeping bag in directed light, and doing so at what is 7:30 in the morning. This is a threat by the Ontario Police, who are present pursuant to criminal summoning, arresting another third party who is monitoring with them right now. That's what I'm capturing images of. And it is the same Ontario Museum of History and Arts. This is the entity that is stalking by helicopter as I captured all night last night and as I captured all day yesterday. That is Guerrero. That's present pursuant to criminal summoning, by the way. While he is arresting, what does a third party understand they're monitoring together? They're monitoring together in directed light. And this is Galvin that's communicating a threat while he's talking about it's a crime, while he's engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. Galvin, you're going to federal prison. I want to let you know that. But I will happily pack up my property. Is there anything else you want to say? Anything else?
I already told you what it is. You can't sleep here.
I'm awake. I'm going to get up and pack up my stuff. Is there anything else you want to tell me? Is there anything else? Okay. Alrighty. It is 7:31 a.m. This is the Ontario Police Department. This is a demon. This is a demon-possessed group stalker engaging in criminal surveillance, exercising fictitious authority. You are demon-possessed. This is Satan. And he finds it funny, too. They also get satisfaction from stalking and engaging in surveillance with helicopters. That's the work of Satan. This is amplified audible activity. Galvin is monitoring right now. Galvin's going to federal prison, and so is Guerrero. You got your partner's badge number? Okay, it's okay. I got it already. This is P.O.C. This is Union Pacific monitoring with the Ontario Police. They like to engage in stalking. Your police department's going to be disbanded. Just want to let you know that. And you're going to federal prison. And the third parties you're monitoring with, they're going to federal prison. Why you want to come here and engage in what is intimidation, because that's what this is. That's what this is. And I want to let you know something else, Galvin. You actually don't have any authority under the law when you are the criminal. While you're referencing a crime, you're the criminal. How about that? That's rich. What's that? What are you pointing at? Why would that be mine?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't even know what that is. What is it?
I thought you knew. I don't know.
No, I don't know. But Galvin...
You're here all night. You're here all night. Right?
How do you know I was here all night?
There's cameras here.
Okay, so you're referencing your access to the cameras?
I don't have access to the cameras.
So what are you talking about what I was doing here all night? How do you know what's going on the cameras? How do you know when I was here all night? You know everything in Ontario? You're placing everybody under surveillance in Ontario, or just me, Gavin? Everybody? That's an admission. Not that I need it, because I have direct evidence of the criminal conduct that the Ontario police are engaging in, including right now. Is there anything else? It's 7:33 a.m. All right, this is criminal monitoring. This is Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2, right now. The very conversation. Guerrero's over there with third parties. Guerrero's over there with third parties. This is harassment by a demon, by the way. I'm glad you find it funny. Keep that same energy. Keep that. No, that's not nice. There's nothing nice about monitoring. There's nothing nice about exercising fictitious authority under the law. There's nothing nice about stalking while you're bearing weapons. Everything about this conversation, this encounter, is threatening the life of an American citizen whom you have no right to place under surveillance. And then you're here talking about, I'm sleeping at the museum. You're stalking. You know exactly where I'm sleeping. You're a psychopath. That's the reality. Okay? It's currently 7:33 a.m. I'm going to pack up my property now. This is P.O.C. Is it required for you to hover over me while you're packing up my property?
Yeah, I don't know. You might have a weapon or something to hurt me.
Oh, really? While I'm sleeping? Were you concerned about that when you were hovering over me while I was asleep?
Was I hovering over you?
You were. Your shoe touched my foot. My foot felt your shoe, yeah. You were hovering over me, Satan. That's exactly what
You
you're
see
doing.
this camera here? That's
Yeah.
why I turn it on every time I contact
Those cameras actually don't mean anything. You guys turn those on and off. You delete content
Okay,
that's
well, those you
incriminating.
can't. Those you can't.
Okay, those are third-party cameras. That's the same thing. You're the same entity. Yeah, but anyway, you're referencing a threat. You're the threat.
Are you done?
No, I'm asking you, do you need to hover over me while I'm packing up a sleeping
Yes.
bag?
I don't know. You might have a gun under there.
So hovering over me is going to
I'm
protect
not
me?
hovering over you. I'm standing.
You were hovering over me while I was sleeping. Yes, you were.
I can hover. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, just like you hover in helicopters stopping. Yes, you did.
That's hovering.
That's exactly what
I'm
you
not a
were, and
helicopter.
that's why I felt your foot while I'm in my sleeping bag.
Now you're just lying.
No, I don't need to lie, honey. I don't need to lie. What are you talking about? Saying you are such a liar. You're up here in the morning at 7:30 in the morning stalking me, trying to find a way how can you harass me because you're going to federal prison. You can talk about whatever you want. You're going to federal
I don't
prison.
want to
Just
go.
for getting on my nerves,
I don't want to
you're
go.
going to federal prison. How about that? You're pathetic. In a position you have no business being in. You have no business being in law enforcement. None. And I'm going to handle that too.
Okay.
7:36 a.m. This is Officer Guerrero again. Guerrero's over here monitoring with Gavin, who's standing over here, hovering over me, talking about he doesn't know if I have weapons. These are the psychopaths stalking with helicopters day and night. And this is what I mean by those. This is an act of harassment by a demon-possessed entity, and who's under a fake sun, and he's literally stalking with audible activity. This is demonic. You hearing that beeping? This is a demon. You belong in a psychiatric ward, Satan. That's what you belong. You're a psychopath.
Why are you so mean to me?
Oh no, I'm not mean. I'm truthful, and I have no respect for cowards. None. And I'm also not scared of them. I'm not scared of you either, Satan. That's why you're over here stalking me. And you should be scared because you're going to federal prison. Look at me in my face. You're going to federal prison. You're going. That's exactly where you're going. Record that on your body cam because I'm going to use your body cam against you. That's my evidence. I'm going to prosecute you. Just make sure you don't try to delete the content like you do every other time.
I can't.
When you're lying in the court with those minions that you're monitoring.
What's your name again?
That's the audible activity of a psychopath who's stalking. What's your name?
Oh, what is it? I forgot.
Okay. The minion that you're over there monitoring with Guerrero, he knows exactly who I am. And so do you. That's why you're over here in direct light. And that's why this demon is stalking with audible activity. You hear that beeping? Are you turning it on and off? What are you doing?
Turn it off and on.
He's turning his body cam on and off.
On and off.
On and off.
See?
And what's your first initial? Galban. A.Galban. It sounded like it would have been Galvan. This is Galban, who's punching his body cam. He's turning it on and off. That's audible activity. This is demonic. Understand what he's doing. It is 7:38 a.m. That's audible activity in directed light. Understand this is terrorism. This is a demon who is wearing a police uniform. I'm just packing up my property, and Galvan is stalking in relevant position in directed light. That's what he's doing. And he's monitoring with communication devices. Excuse me?
You're just taking forever.
I'm packing up my property.
I know, I see.
I was knocked out when you were hovering over me, standing over me, Satan, touching me with your feet, until the moment you chose to speak while you were stalking while I was
Continue to do
sleeping.
what you're doing.
I am. I can talk all I want.
I know you can. I'm just telling you to continue to do what you're doing.
I am doing what I'm doing what I'm doing. I can walk and chew gum. You don't even have a right to tell me not to speak. You are absolutely on the entirely wrong side of the law, and it's pathetic.
What?
It's pathetic.
Can't hear you.
Yes, you can. It's pathetic. Can you spell
I
it?
don't hear negativity.
I doubt you can't spell it. You mean you can't hear the truth?
can't hear
Oh, you're gonna hear the truth.
negativity.
You're gonna hear the truth. You're gonna hear it.
I can't handle the truth.
And this is criminal summoning. I want to be clear. This is grounds of federal prison in and of itself that Galvan is subject to. But this is documentation
Why?
of the Ontario Police Department.
Why is it?
All right? This is the Ontario Police Department. The same
What am I
entity
doing?
stalking by helicopter all day, as I documented yesterday,
What is a
all
helicopter?
night, and then present pursuant to criminal summoning. That in and of itself is federal prison. This is how the police are engaging in what is terrorizing American citizens, especially those documenting the pattern of conduct.
Oh my goodness.
All right? And so this is a
too early
minion
for
that's
this.
creating audible activity. This is P.O.C. It's 7:40
No,
a.m.
what? Penal code what? I need to
talking
look
to
it
me?
up. What is it? Penal code what?
What are you talking about?
You're talking about a penal code. What is it?
I didn't say any word called penal code.
Yes?
I didn't
So
say anything.
I'm into a penal code, and I'm trying to ask you which one.
No, I never said the word
So
penal code.
so I can look it up.
I never said the word penal
You
code.
see? You see?
I do see that you're not correctly recalling what happened. That's what I see. What are you talking about? Never said the word penal code. It's amplified plane activity while Gabon is stalking in plain sight. That's federal prison. He's standing here monitoring directly in my face, exercising fictitious authority under the law while the entity is group stalking by planes. This is the same exact P.O.C. Excuse me? You said what? No, you're stalking, okay? You are stalking. And what you're doing is already established, okay? You don't have any legitimacy whatsoever. None. You have zero.
Thank you.
And the fact that you have the goals to come and threaten Americans, that's why you're going to federal prison as well. Okay, while you're talking about penal codes.
That's what you were saying.
No, I did not. Work on your recall, minion. Nobody said that.
Why are you calling me?
Because you are a minion. Your behavior is demonstrating that. First of all, you're a minion. Second of all, you're a criminal.
What is a minion?
You're a criminal.
What is a minion?
You know exactly what a minion is.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, you are a minion. That's reality. That's why you're stalking.
I was not answering.
That's why you're
the question.
stalking. And that's why you're here in direct light. That's why you're over here using your body cam, stalking with noise. You're a weirdo. You're a stalker. And you think you can threaten somebody with that badge? I'll take that badge from you. You're pathetic. I don't have any respect for you if you can't tell. I have none.
You're so aggressive. You need to find love.
Excuse me?
You need to find love.
You need to find a life. You're a stalker. There's nothing funny about it. Everything about your conduct, right? Let me be clear. Everything about your conduct, I'm going to use it against you on the
Okay,
property.
ma'am. Can you hurry up, please? My tree.
I'm packing up my property. You're the one that started this encounter, and I'm going to finish it. You came over here starting it, and I'm going to finish it. It is 7:45 a.m. Galvin and Guerrero are group stalking with the people of the state, engaging in what is monitoring the same exact pattern of conduct. Excuse me?
7:46.
I didn't ask you for the time. That's audible activity. This is, again, Galban, spelled Galban, and this is the fake sun. I'm going to show you what is the fake sun that is nowhere near Mercy House. It's already here over the Ontario Museum of History and Arts, and he is in group stalking and directed light as well. This is the entity that is group stalking with the city of Ontario. We've got SoCal Edison that are lined up in commercial vehicles. You have the 150 East Holt Boulevard building. And this is the fake sun that's right here over me at 7:45 a.m. This is the exact same entity that I capture day in and day out stalking by helicopter and stalking me while they know exactly where I'm sleeping, and then during the day coming and standing over me, because that's exactly what he was doing. He's hovering over me. I'm sleeping in my sleeping bag, and as this is Satan standing over me, okay? And he's like, wake up, you can't sleep here. This is a crime. He is stalking, knows exactly where I am, stalking all night long by helicopter, by the way, and stalking all day. These demons whose license plate I'm reciting, they're monitoring together. And then coming in, this is the exercise of fictitious authority. This is how you're engaging in harassment and terrorism. While you also know that I'm documenting the fact that you're all demons in an unnatural environment. Let me be clear. What I documented at Mercy House. All right, the fake sun is here over me at the Ontario Museum, aiming directed light underneath the site. Impossible light activity in the presence of that light source, while he is engaging in what is harassment and terrorism. Engaging and doing so while you're stalking all night by helicopter. This is what is so preposterous about that conduct. And so I want to be clear, this is all manner of a threat posed by this demon-possessed agency, and Guerrero is over here engaged in criminal summoning as well. Everything that he is speaking to is an admission, all right? And it is also the ongoing audible activity where I'm subject to monitoring. It's 7:46 a.m. All right, I did capture video because I wanted to capture the environment. This is the directed light. This is the direct evidence of federal stalking that the Ontario police are engaging in, and doing so pursuant to what is ongoing stalking with the people of the state. And doing so in order to this is Satan that just wants to come and communicate a threat, just like they are doing all night, stalking by helicopter. These are hostile demons exercising fictitious authority under the law that they do not have. You're a stalker. You know exactly where I am located. You're engaging in what is incriminating the people of the state while you are alleging criminal summoning. That's fine. The personnel of the Ontario Museum of History and Arts will go to federal prison too. This is an entity that's engaging in criminal conduct, and what they're being documented based on what is criminal activity that is that they are engaging in, and where it is that I'm sleeping is directly precipitating from your criminal activity. And by the way, where you are in relevant position and monitoring under the light source and in directed light, you're engaged in the criminal act of federal stalking as an entity, and there is no form for that. You don't have any authority under the law. You are stalking, and they're also engaging in what is hundreds of video documentation to that end, stalking by helicopter. And then with a straight face, Satan comes under the name of Galban and engages in what is this group stalking conduct, hovering over me, touching me with his feet. Let me be clear, that's a battery. That's terrorism. That's entirely harassing. That's a psychopath that is stalking, wearing a police uniform, and hovering that closely to me, and then lying, talking about I have to lie. Why do I have to lie? You're the one that's here stalking. That's a matter of evidence. I don't have to lie, just like I don't have to lie about them stalking with helicopters. And they're doing it under the fake sun, which is not anywhere near Mercy House. All right, and I want to be clear, what you heard that demon talking about, and I'm referencing the demon that is Galban. What you heard that demon talking about, what's your name? He was saying, what's your name? Like he didn't know me. 7UDC 085, like he didn't know who I was, rather. 8CGW093, monitoring with the Ontario Police. When he's walking away, which I capture on video, he says my name specifically, Erica. He's very familiar with who I am, but you already know this through the environment. You're dealing with an entity, a demon-possessed one, who is placing me under surveillance. You also know that by the entity stalking by helicopter. You know exactly where I'm at. You came here to engage in what is harassment and terrorism in person, because Satan wants to be in my face. Satan wants to threaten in whatever manner that it can, and it actually cannot do that either. But like I said, and as I documented, Galban and Guerrero is going to federal prison. Guerrero in particular likes to engage in criminal summoning a lot, exercising fictitious authority, but this is indicative, this is characteristic of the Ontario Police Department in general. Literally, the fake sun is over me at the museum at 7:50. I captured that video at 7:49, 7:50 in the morning. Where yesterday I'm at the Mercy House, but also pay attention to where I'm at yesterday morning, getting off Omnitrans. After 11 o'clock, the fake sun is literally on the opposite side of 150 East Holt, where the Ontario Police Department are stalking me by helicopter, flying over that apartment building. All right, and that's what you'll see. This is every bit of what is criminal summoning and ongoing harassment and intimidation by a demon-possessed agency. RKV 0733 Texas, 5ZWX 607, 6HPJ 785. And this is what's so pathetic about Satan. They just want a reaction. It's so pathetic. But this is relevant to what is group stalking, the conduct of Satan. Satan has already, you're talking about when you're exposing that criminal system, the level to which I've exposed it and documented it, and I'm prosecuting it. I'm even creating what is policy to surround it with regard to what is law enforcement and what they're doing in this country to American citizens in violation of your constitutional human rights. You have lost. And so now what are the demons of the Ontario Police Department doing? Stalking by, literally, what are they doing? They're providing evidence against the people of the state because they're done, okay? You can stick a fork in it. And so are the people. Oh, but there's going to be no question about when I say you're going to federal prison as a matter of justice, when I'm documenting the minions that they're monitoring with the police departments because they're group stalking together. That's evidence against the people of the state. The entity is engaging in what is the provision of evidence against the totality of that entity, providing a template as to how police agencies, law enforcement in general, okay, are engaging in terrorism in this country, well, in the state of California and in this country, and it's federal stalking, placing American citizens under surveillance. What that looks like. That's what my documentation reveals. That's what they're providing me a wealth of. And when they can't get a reaction out of that, because I don't care that you're a stalker and obsessed, you're going to federal prison. You're already dealt with. It's already done. It's already a matter of what is a conclusion. You're talking about what is coming to be in my face, trying to get a reaction when you know that you are already documented as a stalker. That's a terrorizing threat, though. To the ordinary target individual who has a right to not be subject to that, that's terrorism. That's Satan that's obsessed. That's Satan that wants to affect you. Satan wants to try to psychologically harm you. Satan wants to in any way try to affect you in any way. You're talking about what is additional grounds of federal prison, and that's what Galvan was looking out for. This is what Guerrero is looking for. While they sought to fly over me repeatedly, over and over again, I did not capture that particular act on video. I was watching my YouTube video because the entity is a pathetic stalker, and the Ontario Police returned again, stalking, flying repeatedly over in circles over me last night, and I didn't even capture it on video because that's how much documentation I have. Okay, that's how much evidence I have. That's how pathetic they are. Okay, and then you're having what is standing over me. Galvan's going to stand over me and talk about this is a crime, and of course I'm going to document that. Amazon Prime group stalking with the Ontario Police Department. 8JXP116 monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. So you have the entity that is monitoring and stalking, and then arriving in the morning. And let me be clear, because I'm breaking down for you what's demonic. I've already shown you what's the criminal pattern of conduct. Satan's personality, Satan wants a reaction. Satan wants to bother you. And so you think that giving me your badge number, I'm documenting you on my podcast, you're going straight to federal prison, all right? And you're talking about what is admitting to, while you're engaging in that, everything that you're saying I'm going to use against you, all right? You are literally a baboon, okay, that is wearing a badge that you have no authority to wear. You have no right to wear. You have no legitimacy whatsoever. 6MBZ207. I mean, I literally have video that I'm going to document today. The Ontario Police Department stalked me all night by helicopter. I literally have that in my phone right now, and I'm going to go upload that. And then they arrived engaging in what is, you can't sleep here, it's a crime. You're stalking me. You're stalking. What are you doing? What are you talking about, Satan? You're stalking. 2730889. That's a large truck. 9BHZ326. You are an entire demon. He was standing there using his body cam to engage in stalking with noise under directed light, and the fake sun is directly over the museum, which is nowhere near the laundry room at Mercy House at 435 South Bonneview. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. All right, so I want to be clear. That's speaking to what is the pattern of conduct while Mercy House is engaging in it. 7RYF552. And they're doing so on behalf of the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, where the people of the state that I heavily documented, including that minion, monitoring with the Ontario Police, federal prison. All right, that wants to engage in what is harassment and intimidation with the Ontario Police. You'll go to federal prison with the Ontario Police. That's what's going on. That's what's necessary as a matter of justice. And because you're a stalker and I'm documenting you, and because I don't care the fact that you're an obsessed stalker, you're stalking so much, I don't even need to capture extra video of your returning and flying literally in circles like the psychopath that you are over me by helicopter all night. And then Galvan and Guerrero arrived this morning. 14217J2. Satan wants a reaction. McLean monitoring with the Ontario Police. 655JZO. And they're providing what is ongoing documentation against the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. 7FCH943. All right. Speaking to whoever it is that's summoning you, because they're all monitoring together. So you provide an admission, because who's going to federal prison with you? 7WAU725, 8XRL804. This is, it's 8:01 a.m. and this is what the entity is engaging in, and that's what the significance of that audible activity. They're all demons stalking in directed light, all of them. This overweight minion, she's an Asian female, 7TVG981, and it's 8:01 a.m. This is P.O.C. The 150 San Bernardino County, they're group stalking with the Ontario Police, 7PHP958. You're talking about every employee. Let me tell you how thorough this documentation is with regard to reaching an entity. If you had, this is not the case, and this is not, the federal government is in no way restricted, but I just want to give you an example. If you had nobody else, everybody that works inside of the San Bernardino County building right now is subject to federal prison if you had no other documentation. But that's not how that works. You have way more than that. Okay, the Allied Universal Security Guards federal prison, they're all monitoring with the Ontario Police, who sought to come and personally communicate a threat, exercising fictitious authority under the law, talking about this is a crime when you are engaging in surveillance. You're in no way distracted by who the criminal is. You're stalking using your helicopter, stalking me.
license 8CKB594. And that's what I do not respect. And he's going to federal prison for that. And so let me be clear, San Bernardino County, 7STS627, where the entity's keeping a fake sun literally from morning until evening. Every single last one of them in relevant position. Vendors engaging in what is making a delivery. Whatever it is that they're doing, they're monitoring together. Federal prison, just off of that. Understand that. BV95B59, because they're monitoring together. 8EOG500. 8HRM462. These are demons, one after another, engaging in what is impunity. Monitoring together. 33106W2. Including Union Pacific, they're monitoring with the Ontario Police. License plate. CD08P01, that's the paper plate on a black Mercedes, looks like a Caucasian female. 7EKY807, 7KDP499, 8L, I can't say this one. 8LAM373, I believe. And this is also the beauty, this is the purpose of documentation. The entity has zero legitimacy. And it is, you can see clearly what the entity is doing when you're stalking day and night, and then you're coming and approaching the target individual. You understand what I'm speaking to? Nothing other than what is a satanic desire to further harass. 6R87751. It's pathetic, and you lose. You lose on every, and you're going to federal prison for that. Just because you're not just a stalker that's terrible, you're an annoying stalker. You're pathetic. 8SGK372, 8HLE607, Kehe, KEHE, US.302401, license plate 2568478, Omnitrans. Their group stalking crossing path 8KJH813 42537F2. City of Ontario crossing path. License plates. Let's see. AT&T 429 7KEW 974 7PGS 419 7RGD 286 38290 handicap 8CIE 855 7VXF 047 70564E3 8 EEP 045, Omnitrans, Route 87, license 1545682, bus 2343, license 9BB3Z91, excuse me. I believe that's what that says. 8SVF 822, and they're all group stalking. They're all monitoring on behalf of the Ontario Police, who is stalking me from place to place in helicopters. All right, and doing so, the demon-possessed police agency, just like Galban was demonstrating. What you heard, that beeping, that demon was using that as a method of ongoing noise. Maintaining noise and engineer light. It's demonic. It's a demon. License 35455V2, 7JXF565. License SWEFTP, 7YKK918. WINNIEC, 8XKZ260. RNDC, 12131F3, 8MWW302, 7UHK766, and RNDC, reaching over with directed light. They want to further terrorize it. They're going straight to federal prison. And I documented them before. It's also an impermissible threat while they're stalking with the Ontario Police Department. It is 8:05 a.m. License plate 6PFH383. Omnitrans is stalking in the path, creating light activity. (3987) 39878. I can't really see the rest of them. License. Oh, yeah, I read that one already. 6PFH383. 6YHK785. Yes, SWEETP, Sweet P, is that license plate? (8ZTL419) 7DCH017 8G91147 8NND987 6YHS443. It's a Caucasian female, license 5VES648 9AXK217 R294HO 9BOY520 39376F3 8LSX244 Air conditioning and heating, AJ00017, substantially similar to Arizona plate on that commercial vehicle, stalking with directed light. And they're monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. I'm gonna prosecute these companies. License plate, NTK3865. That's Texas. 8 LLC 537. Staples is group stalking. And of course, Union Pacific is group stalking. This is massive facilitation. You got a lot of people affiliated with that company. They're going to federal prison. License 4WVC172. That's called impunity. License plate of Staples 10739G2. That's an African-American male wearing his cap backwards. I probably documented that demon before. I'm pretty sure I did. License plate, City of Ontario. License 1493746, 8LXU005, 6J59287, 5Z32081. It's currently 8:08 a.m. Omnitrans, and you have this commercial train that over here is stalking with light activity. This is the demonic behavioral pattern. While the fake sun remains here over the bus stop. The bus stop where I arrived yesterday, well after 11. And I'm laughing because it's pathetic. And this is, again, the surefire prosecution for what is a demonic system as I've exposed it. They're in an unnatural environment. There are a bunch of demons stalking somebody together, placing somebody under surveillance, somebody with constitutional rights and somebody that's exposing and documenting it. And this is where the fake sun is present over me, which I already documented before I captured that again yesterday. Guess who's going to federal prison? All of those minions that I documented at Mercy House, Medina's Auto Body, Ontario Master, those minions that all in relevant position, those license plates, that's federal prison. While the Ontario Police wants to arrive today, you're not deterring any documentation that's already gathered. The fake sun, you are under exercising petition. That's literally Satan exercising authority that it doesn't have. So let me be clear. Satan has a whole bunch of police officers who are not actually provided with any authority. This is what I am revealing to you. This is the spiritual truth. Okay? Now, how are you going to prosecute that? While you're engaged in criminal surveillance, you are on the opposite side of the law, and you are not exercising any lawful authority. Abuse of information that you have unlawfully obtained. Unlawfully obtained. All right, but the reality is Satan doesn't have any authority. You are an illegitimate official. You're illegitimate. You're just waiting for the time of expiration for that to be revealed and for you to be placed where you belong. YP46147. Stalking with light activity. This is Rose Transport Incorporated, US.3719384, MC1308545, California 594625. VIN number is, VIN KSJW8872. And this is Rose Transport Incorporated. It's a vehicle, a large truck that's on the side of the road. And using this vehicle as a means of stalking with light activity in concert with Omnitrans. All right? They're creating light activity on Euclid Avenue, and they're monitoring with the Ontario Police. It's light activity while Guerrero and Galban are group stalking in person. That's the entity acting directly, okay? That is, again, license plate YP46147, and that's Rose Transport Incorporated. They're monitoring with the Ontario Police. That's grounds of federal prison. That is holding that company accountable, and somebody's going to federal prison for that. Understand that. And the back license plate on this Rose truck, 4UT4301. Stalking in the path, nobody clearly sitting in it, just using it with the hazard lights on while it's parked on the side of the road. It's light activity. It's doing the same thing that Omnitrans is doing while those criminals are operating public transportation monitoring. License YDUTCH 01168M1. And the same Caucasian female group stalking with the Ontario Police flying over me by helicopter as I got off the bus. Where the fake sun's in the same position over me, by the way, at 11. That's hours from now. She's crossing paths on Route 61 this morning as well. I want to be clear, she's going to federal prison as I capture in video. This is the African-American male driving Route 87, license 1545682, bus 2343. He's loitering in relevant position, monitoring while the people of the state are patrolling, while this Rose Transport Incorporated truck is a method of light activity. These demons are patrolling, stalking with directed light, monitoring, and that's the same African-American male stalking again while you're documenting, not deterred by documentation, going to federal prison, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. Omnitrans, by the way, represents the people of the state. That entire company is engaging in state surveillance, as I've documented it. That entire company is engaging in what is the impermissible threat.
Okay, as I've documented them in images by employee number on video, etc. They are posing an impermissible threat as a company that these companies represent the people of the state. They're monitoring with the state. It's currently 8:12 a.m. and that is surveillance at Route 87. That's Omnitrans is engaging in stalking with light activity, flashing of light, facilitation. All right, it's currently 8:12 a.m. and I am at the same bus stop where the fake sun is present. Bus stop 7911, where the entity is keeping a fake sun at all hours of the day, as I've documented. Okay, you're talking about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the fake sun is over me at the same bus stop where it is right now. And yesterday, at this time, I am in Ontario at Mercy House, sitting inside of a laundry room where the entity is keeping a fake sun directly over my head that you see as I'm looking out the window, or you're listening to the Union Pacific being a stalker, using that's demonic method of audible activity creation, the train as it was used, and the demons flying commercial airline planes over my head repeatedly under the fake sun. And that is the prosecution of the people of the state, including Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines, UPS and FedEx using their planes, engaging in those acts of terrorism as I captured it under what is not possibly the sun. 67221T2. And these are demons that are stalking with methods of flashing light. Okay? License plate 90543B3. That's called light activity. It's 8:13 a.m. All right, stalking with the Ontario Police, CXZ 0986, Texas, CC 81895, paper, 8STS 472, 36352T1, 73739K2, 8SMH 948, 8PMR 339, MACLIN 7, 6EHR 160, 6BXC 359, 66073H2, 8UXA 911, BRUIN 94, 8TMV 573, 8SQG 558, 5VES 648. That's that Caucasian female crossing path again. She can go to federal prison. All right, you're not just going around running errands and just you're group stalking under the fake sun, and you're group stalking while you know you're being documented. All right, so you like to continuously stalk somebody while you're being documented. That's an impermissible threat, and you're doing it on behalf of the Ontario Police Department. Understand that's grounds of federal prison. City of Ontario, stalking in the path with flashing light. Showing you what is the Ontario Police group stalking. They're at B Street and Euclid Avenue. All right, that is the entity crossing path and monitoring and every third party that I continuously document, including by company name, that is speaking to what is that ongoing criminal system underway at Guerrero and Galvan, as I already told them they're going to federal prison. License 5WLP 658, and that is vehicle, by the way, 1053, I believe. Can't really say it, but they're group stalking at B Street. It represents the agency. The entire agency is being prosecuted. The entire one. The entire agency. All right, over here, group stalking with the Ontario Police. License 5SSV 506, 5KLR 177, 7XRF 491, 1444138, Caltrans, 1324420, Caltrans, 8VDS 344, 1328022, Chaffee Joint Union High School, Chaffee Joint School District, 36146K3. That's a Caucasian male wearing glasses, operating his phone with directed light, stalking with the Ontario Police. 8YZZ764, 8NCC563, 7TPC008, 7KCP174. Ontario Police lording in relevant position at My Stisa Cake House and Cafe, where they're monitoring. RIA money transfer. They're monitoring with the Ontario Police, 14245L2. And what you're looking at is a fake sun right here over me at the bus stop, 8SKR 585. And I've already captured that while I am literally in the laundry room, and I'm capturing video at 7 o'clock, at 7:50, at 8:31, and I've have video at the same exact time in Upland, California, 8PUJ 657. 7:50 in the morning at Foothill and Euclid Avenue. That's not the sun that's over me at the laundry room. Those are demons that are monitoring on behalf of the Ontario Police Department, and they're going to federal prison for that. Okay? And I'm speaking to what is the Ontario Access Center Mercy House, whose license plates I've also documented, and they've been engaged in what is terrorism and surveillance for years, as I've documented that as well, and they're all going to federal prison. All right, and that's why you have what is that unnatural environment surrounding me while they're engaging in what is very satanic levels of terrorism. You captured it on my podcast while I'm in the bathroom and capturing it on video and images. You're talking about just rampant, just stalking by planes and helicopters, all these commercial airline planes, making all this buku money, and while they're operating a business, engaging in state surveillance, and they're doing so on behalf of the Ontario Police, who were monitoring me then, and they're monitoring me now. That's why the sun is not over the laundry room at Mercy House. It's right here over me at the bus stop. 8UDH 628, 8DGX 358, 7VVF 826, 8GLR 050, 7PSY 262, 8HDM 164, 8VKT 760, 7A4 2275, 8BIC 426, 17905F3. Ontario Police engaging in what is monitoring. This is criminal surveillance while they're going inside of any venue. They're group stalking. Understand? It's a method of loitering in relevant position. All right, Loomis is crossing path. They're monitoring. That's a company engaging in criminal monitoring with the police departments. This is unlawful conduct that you're going to, you're enabled, while I'm documenting, I'm showing you how the people of the state are engaging in it, and you're understanding the equally threatening conduct as they engage in it, bearing nothing other than a logo. You're no different than the rest of these minions who are group stalking, walking around on the sidewalk, maintaining presence inside of any venue, whether they live there or whether they're there engaging in some sort of business or whatever. And doing so, it's the highest level of malice while they're using companies to do it. LA 90032, 39384 S2. And their demons is the same. That's why I'm showing you molestation by a demon driving a FedEx vehicle, molestation by a demon driving an Ontario Police Department vehicle, 7TDL 884 demons, while the entity is group stalking by the people of the state whose license plates I document by the hundreds. License 70963G2. And what's the iteration of that demonic activity while Gabon is using his body cams, creating ongoing beeping sounds? The directed light you see underneath the side of the Ontario Museum, that's the iteration of it, okay? That's what you see inside of the Upland Public Library, okay? They're not flashing directed light like these while these demons are driving by in vehicles. How are they engaging in that ongoing conduct of stalking amongst directed light, surrounding me with engineered light while they're monitoring? This is the conduct of psychopaths, the demon-possessed. The engineered light that is underneath the side of the Ontario Museum while Gabon is stalking and Guerrero are stalking, and those third parties, the third party that they are arresting, they're all monitoring together. All right, this is public corruption at its highest. That's how the iteration of that demonic activity is underway, by the way. 26199K2, 7SML144. Ontario Police Group stalking at 821 under the fake sun, license 1582421. That's a Latina female with a large nose, vehicle 1010. Stalking with the other one that's maintaining presence at the Mestiza Cake House and Cafe. And they're stalking me, all right, knowing exactly where I'm sleeping. Guerrero and Galban decided to come and confront me and provide ongoing evidence against the Ontario Police Department altogether. 7VXF047. And they're going to federal prison. Not just for that, this is just ongoing. It's just, they're going to federal prison. That's already a foregone conclusion. You're talking about what is ongoing evidence speaking to how you're going to punish that entire agency, and it's disbanding it. Disbanding it. City of Ontario, who also engages in criminal summoning, stalking with light activity, just like Rose Incorporated, just leaving a truck abandoned, just keeping it with flashing light. This is ongoing terrorism they're monitoring. While the police are engaging in surveillance at Mestiza Cafe, I'll document them for that. They're stalking with the Ontario Police. All right, and they're doing so with City of Ontario. They're not engaging in landscaping. Those are demons that are stalking. All right, this whole satanic system has been stripped down. They're monitoring together. And then you're doing so while an American citizen is aware of it and subject to it. This is another level of that terrorism. And you'll go to federal prison and psychiatric wards for that. License 7P95973. That's an impermissible threat. And you are a very disturbed psychopath, a threat to the public, and you will be removed, okay? Disabled from posing that threat. 9BCV 700, 7SMR 326, 8TJX 074. 8CHB 928, 8JDN 259, 05777J3, 8ENG 133, 8UIL 105, 015, 7RWN 946, 83359H3, stalking with directed light, molesting, 4NB 2773, Fresca is the commercial, that's commercial actor that's touching on me with directed light and monitoring with the Ontario Police. I'll drag that company in court. I'm gonna prosecute them. 6ZZH507, 8LZN440. Coach USA is crossing path. 7VLC657, 7VXM119. They're crossing path, driving on Euclid Avenue and then turning east onto Transit. They are group stalking as well. They're crossing path. 46178X1. And like I said, while they're molesting together, Coach USA is a sex offender. Right? They are touching you for a reason. They're monitoring you. It's demonic. It's a demonic obsession. They're engaging in this engineered light conduct, and demons do so by touching you while they're literally driving a car. Has nothing, there would never, ever, does that light activity ever occur? And I've shown you that hundreds of times. This is an entity that's engaging in this while you're documenting, and they know it. They know that you're documenting them. And this is, let me be clear, that's the personality of Satan. Satan does it even more while you document it to its own demise. They're going to be sitting in psychiatric wards and sitting in federal prison. License plate 60448J3. 5CVM775. It is 8:24 a.m. License plate 70638D1. That is Mount Baldy Joint School District, crossing path on Hope Boulevard. Okay, at 8:25 a.m. That's on traffic cameras, Mount Baldy School District. That's audible activity by City of Ontario. And evidence against the City of Ontario, they've engaged in multiple acts of criminal summoning and kidnapping. And they're going to federal prison for that. And this is evidence that they're continuously stalking with the Ontario police. It's called impunity. 8ZBL597, 6SUU946, 8WLR278, 4DQD347, 7CTJ480, 7SMM488, 7WJN444, 8LWK613, 41441V1, 8FNU319. And I'll tell you what other terrorism that Rose Transport Incorporated is engaging in. This large truck is abandoned here with flashing light. 56003K2. Prudent overall supply. Those are demons stalking with directed light. 6UEC687. Rose Transport Incorporated. Remember, I've documented outside of Starbucks at 706 West Hope Boulevard. The entity would leave a large truck, not a fake truck, a large truck parked across the street, and these demons were engaging in directed light across it. 7TOW334. Remember that scene out of hell that I documented? Impossible light while demons were monitoring me. That's the entity acting together. I mean, you're talking about massive surveillance as I documented that video. The fake sun, by the way, at that time was remaining over Starbucks. Totally out of conformity with being over me at the Mercy House, being over me in Fontana, being over me in Chino, being over me at the Upper Public Library. But that's why you document. Okay, and I documented what is the demon possession of the people of the state engaging in terrorism and directed light moving all across a truck while demon after demon after demon were crossing path. This is what Rose Transport Incorporated is facilitating as well. 8ZLE445. License plate 4404982. All right, this demon wants to go to federal prison. License. Oh, no license plate on there. That's why they're so bold. That's okay. That's speaking to the prosecution of the people. Stalking with no license plate. That's the unlawful refusal of publicly available information. And you also know you're being documented. 8EBR714. 9AXA601. 8BGZ960. 7JVB164. 7TIV762. 7KPE870. 8XIY034. 8JTH961. 8KPN269, 7YLG792, 7YDK272, 7TED121, 7 42537F2. Stalking with directed light. That's somebody that's stalking you and threatening you. You're going to prosecute for that. It's 8:28 a.m. Coach USA crossing path. Looks like vehicle 12695 is on it. And I don't see a license plate on the front. License Coach USA. And the license plate is P822074 8XAU100. And Coach USA is touching while they're stalking me. 5NJF819, and they're stalking with the Ontario Police. License 7VZE053 8XJG937, and they're monitoring with the people of the state that ongoing use of loud noise at the same time. This is concerted. 16172V2. These are demons monitoring together, and you'll prosecute a company for engaging in that. You're going to literally reach into these companies, and you flesh and blood people, you're going to federal prison for it. Identify that company CD15P73. All the ways in which the entity is placing you under surveillance, and all the ways in which the people of the state are stalking and monitoring. 8FFA048 225NK handicap, 8XTS150, 8L57565, XP67455, I believe. I can't see the company name. They're molesting. 8BQY723 is molesting. 36036D2. License, I don't know what that is, but CL57175, Arizona. Let's see. Student transportation, 7JJW575, molesting. 6VNM186. Molesting, and so is Omnitrans. Bus 1364 at 8:31 a.m. Alrighty, and this is bus 1364. This is David, employee 2366, molesting with directed light, monitoring at group stalking with the Ontario Police, engaging in that ongoing sex offense. Zaragoza Trucking is also across the path, a part of that molestation, and Omnitrans pulls up right behind. These are third parties who are molesting together. It's literally an ongoing group. It's a gang. This is group stalking. It's gang stalking. And they're engaging in an ongoing molestation while they're driving by, one demon after another after another. And then this is speaking to what is a third party, which is, again, both Omnitrans and the specific employee operating the vehicle, employee 2366 David, okay, who is engaging in what is an impermissible threat, monitoring with the Ontario Police, engaging in terrorism on behalf and in concert with the Ontario Police, engaging in the perpetual sex offense in concert and on behalf of the Ontario Police, okay? It's 8:32 a.m. and the fake sun is over me at the bus stop, as I've already captured in video, by the way. That's what I was speaking to while I was at the laundry room and at Mercy House at 435 South Bonneview yesterday. This is exactly where the fake sun is, because this is where I'm going. This is where I'm located. And that is the stalking with a light source that's not possibly the sun, because while it's over me at the bus stop, it is not hovering over the laundry room doorway, visible through the window, aiming any sunlight to that location, while it is hovering over me, and demons are stalking with directed light. That ongoing concerted activity is what coexists in that environment. The entity stalking with the fake sun, the demon possessed are stalking with directed light. It is currently 8:33 a.m. Alrighty, it is 8:43 a.m. and David is operating bus 1364. David is a sex offender molesting me with directed light on the inside and as I get off of the bus. 1535754. License 8U53682. That's a demon stalking with directed light, and also a sex offender monitoring while David is molesting me. A demon, okay? Light appearing while he is opening and closing the doors and demons get off of the bus. Impossible light activity that's swiping on the interior of the bus. This is terrorism. This is an entity that is stalking and threatening you with this directed light conduct. And then as I get off the bus, on the outside of the bus, as you saw also on video yesterday while the Ontario police flew over my head by helicopter at Metro 102, directed light while he closes the door and I'm off the bus. So this is speaking to what is directed light that's just swirling on the outside to the inside of the bus while you're opening and closing and the fake sun remains over you. It's demonic. All right, and David is a violent sex offender molesting my person who will also engage in an ongoing repeated pattern while David knows he's being documented. He's monitoring with the Ontario police, the Upland police, facilitating this criminal conduct amongst the people of the state, and doing so while engaging in what is a sex offense. License 8VSY280. That's Metrolink engaging in the P.O.C. License 8KUB457, and that's called impunity. Going to reach into companies and prosecute them. License. Oh, we don't have a license plate. She's monitoring with her communication device. Alrighty, she's under the fake sun at 8:45 a.m. This is a Caucasian female. She's wearing glasses, no license plate on the front of her car. While you hear Metrolink, amplified audible activity, while you see the fake sun that I captured at 8:45 a.m., at the same exact time yesterday inside of the laundry room, the entity's keeping a fake sun and aiming direct light inside of that laundry room. I'm in Upland, California, as I already spoke to that in that video. She is monitoring inside of that car wash in relevant positions. Currently 8:45 a.m. This is P.O.C. That's audible activity by a demon. This is 204 North Euclid Avenue, the 7-Eleven. All right, these minions inside of the 7-Eleven molesting with directed light that swipes through the store while they're standing behind the desk. This is, well, not the desk, excuse me, the counter. This is the minion with the 8XET license plate. This is a demon molesting with directed light while a demon outside is crossing path, impossible light activity, group stalking, standing in line, coming in, making purchases to maintain presence in the path. All right, this is 7-Eleven. It's 8:49 a.m. And this is that which is on behalf of the and in concert with the Upland Police Department. Got a whole bunch of demons group stalking inside of 7-Eleven on surveillance cameras. Alrighty, it is currently 8:50 a.m. Alright, license 26296K1. And 7ZPN367 is the overweight African-American male who you see with black sweat sandals on his phone. He's a sex offender. He's stalking in line, walking around me, which is crossing your path inside of the venue. They're engaged in an ongoing sex offense while a demon is driving outside, and somehow light is reaching in and swiping all across your person, moving, flashing through the 7-Eleven. It's entirely demonic. They're stalking all together, and that's his license plate. I captured him in still images. He's engaging in surveillance even in the parking lot, and they're in relevant position monitoring together. And the employee who I capture in the image, engaging in what is an ongoing impermissible threat, likes to stalk and monitor a lot, engaging in sexual violence a lot with the police. 8XET 911. That's that Caucasian male. This is P.O.C. 8VWG 285, CC 86725. That's a paper plate. And it's 8:53 a.m. I completed my purchase at 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue, where the fake sun is remaining over me. And it is nowhere near any laundry room in Ontario at Mercy House at 435 South Bonneview in Ontario, California, which you already know because I've captured day in and day out what the entity is doing with the fake sun. And that's why I sat there in that laundry room documenting it. And they're going to federal prison. License plate 7ZPN367, 8KZP214. License 5JHD488. F12299, 6CED357, 6XSF988, 8YKN732, TYGRE6. Understand these are all sex offenders molesting me together while they're monitoring while I'm inside a 7-Eleven and that direct light occurs. These are sex offenders at Upland United First Methodist, whatever this congregation of minions is called, 8VWG285, sex offenders. These are psychopaths that are group stalking while they're holding a conversation. The fake sun is over their head. They're violent sex offenders. They are at what is again the Upland Methodist Church. Her license plate is 6XSF988. His license plate is 8VWG285. Their demons engaging in surveillance together, monitoring with his communication device. That's a Asian male. All right, he's group stalking, and they just get out of their cars while they were all both engaging in what is relevant positioning, waiting for me to cross the street, and then you just have two minions say, oh yeah, so, and then they're chit-chatting. Look at the fake sun right over their head. They're stalking. And as I take their pictures, you have what is, this Asian male goes back to the sidewalk. His focus is his communication device. That's what he's staring at. That's what he's looking at. And they're monitoring you. These are psychopaths. They're monitoring you. Literally all of them are on a stage, and now you're fooling yourself. Nobody is fooled by what you're doing, and I'm showing you that to be the psychopath. I'm gonna put you in psychiatric wards in a federal prison where you belong. 4JTB 791 49738D2. Because you're talking about what's a very disturbing conduct of stalking. Stalking somebody you have no business stalking, you don't even know me, and you're doing it on behalf of a government. And then you're also, not only are you stalking, but you are determined to engage in that stalking conduct while you want to outwardly act like you're doing something else. That's very sick. And you're not even persuasive. Everything you're doing has been revealed, and yet you're continuously engaging in that system. Those are sick people. 9NHAF hand S. That's literally what the entity is doing all day long. You ain't working, you're not doing no job at the Open Family Community Library. That's what I was going to say, the Upland Public Library, whatever venue that I'm at. They're not working. They're demons that are stalking, maintaining noise. They're psychopaths. Satan at work amongst all of them. They're literally making noises pursuant to what you are doing, wherever it is that you're at inside of the building. 6 p.m. Y186. They're placing you under surveillance while your panties are down inside of the private space of the bathroom in that venue. All right, they're pacing all around you based on what you are doing, as you are doing it, wherever it is you're doing it, and doing it on a communication device, while a fake sun remains over their venue and directed light remains aimed inside of their venue all day long. It's all about you. They're not working. This is an entirely demonic entity, a demon-possessed entity that is focused on the targeted individual, and it is entirely demented. Entirely demented. 6UEL280. 8KVV069. 8HFS 187, I believe. It is 8:57 a.m. And this is the fake sun 42931Y1. This is the fake sun that's over me, again, as I've documented before, at the Upland Public Library, again, as I am arriving. But yet you have it keep remaining over me in Ontario, literally over the laundry room. Okay, over the bathroom where I'm at, and over my head at the bathroom at Mercy House at 10 o'clock, directly over my head. Whereas the entity is keeping the fake sun where I'm here at 10 o'clock in the morning, here already, but not yesterday when it's remaining over me at Mercy House. It remains over me while I'm on Route 61 going to Bonneview, walking down Bonneview, remaining at Mercy House, remaining in the laundry room, and yet you have it right here over my head. That's stalking with a fake sun. These are psychopaths. And while the Ontario police providing what is that documentation that I have, I'm gonna use that very evidence not only to deal with the Ontario police, but to deal with the people of the state. And they're going to federal prison, like I said. Alrighty. See, license 8S76707. Direct the light across the Upland Public Library while that demon is crossing paths. 7HRJ916. Right, and these are the psychopaths. You can take them up off the street, out of the public eye. Not out of the public eye, out of removal from the ability to be a threat, literally, a closeted psychopath, a ticking time bomb. All right, these are criminals that are on you're talking about what is waiting for a point in time where they would engage in what would be defined on, or not defined, what would be explained on some newscast as what is just an inexplicable, unforeseen tragedy. I mean, we just don't know what happened. These are psychopaths. And you don't know their condition. They're a bunch of demons. All right. And there are telltale signs, and you're being given what is documentation of what is a criminal system in operation. This is relevant to what's going on in the minds of people, what's wrong with them. And their demon possession is directly relevant to that. Their demon possession is a threat to the public. All right. And their criminal activity that they're engaging in is directly relevant to that as well. It's not inexplicable. Their criminal activity does not come out of the blue. Having a criminal record is not the only thing that is probative of somebody who poses a threat. I'm showing you what psychopaths are. I'm showing you what they are sitting up having babies. They're working in the medical field. They're on the police force. All right. And then you're talking about what are supposedly accidents that happen or tragedies that occur. You have what are investigations that are ongoing while people die. Okay, well, people all get seriously injured, and you have no idea about what Satan is actually doing while you're given another narrative. I just want you to understand in your mind what's going on with regard to public corruption, all of the implications behind that, about what people are doing, and you don't even know actually what is their condition. You're ignorant to that. These are the same psychopaths that are out here stalking me, acting like they're having a conversation about something else. They're stalking. They're psychopaths. Okay, so like I said, it's currently 9 a.m. I just want you to open your mind and understand it's not just the fact this criminal system. This is relevant to your everyday life, showing you what is the reality of Satan that surrounds you and the psychopath conduct that they engage in. I'm capturing them in a criminal act, and I'm going to prosecute them. I'm going to put them where they belong. But it's also for your information. It's also for informational purposes. It's literally a tutorial of how evil works. Okay? Evil is not defined by whether somebody actually says something mean to you or does something mean to you. Let me tell you something. Galban was keeping a smile on his face while he was also being sarcastic. Everything about that was threatening, but I'm just giving to you what is superficial. Because you're smiling on your face while you're also bearing a weapon, while you're in directed light, under the fake sun, stalking me by helicopter, stalking me day and night as an agency, you are in no way limiting that threat. You are literally, because you're a psychopath smiling, that is threatening in and of itself. You're an unbalanced stalker who specifically came here to engage in what is posing a threat. Okay, who knows exactly where I'm sleeping? Let me go and wake her up and tell her she can't sleep here. And you know exactly what my name is. You know exactly where it is I'm sleeping. You've been stalking all night long, by the way. The whole night, listening to me sleep. All right, they're demons. That's a psychopath. That same exact identical condition amongst the people of the state. It's the demon-possessed population. So I'm speaking to what is the criminal conduct that they do not have any, you don't have any constitutional rights. You don't even have a right to be present where it is you work in relevant position. Okay, these are the fictitious rights that the people of the state are relying on because they don't know. But well, it's a matter of what is supposed to remain a mystery, that the government is placing American citizens under surveillance. Oh, your whole system is broken down. You don't have a right to be wherever it is that you're at in relevant position. The government's placing American citizens under surveillance. And so you're going to break that whole system down. That's a rude awakening. You got a rude awakening, fictitious authority and fictitious rights. You're present not as any individual, you're present on behalf of the state. Your whole malicious system stripped down, and you're all going to the facilities where you belong while you engage in what is ongoing threatening and harassment and terrorism as an entity against an American citizen who is not only subject to it, but then documenting it, which you know. And then you further sought to obstruct justice by engaging in ongoing acts of harassment. That's the P.O.C. All right, that's a synopsis of what the P.O.C. is. But in addition to that, this is beyond this criminal system that I'm exposing and prosecuting and showing how you document. Any ordinary person, you don't have to be an attorney. All right, like I said, you're talking about what is relevant to where you're at, even just documenting who it is. For example, the company that you're, any business that wherever it is, you're talking about relevant positioning, and that's all you would need. Capture the environment where you're at. The light source is remaining over you. That when you're documenting the entity keeping a light source directly over your head, that's not the natural environment. All right, you're capturing directed light. Oh, that's not the natural environment. Demons. All right, you know all of that by just that evidence. Demons are surrounding you. You're under surveillance. All right, you're talking about what is on behalf of the state. It tells you all of the above at the same time. And not only that, that's speaking to what is massive prosecution just in and of itself, but it's going to be beyond just relevant positioning in that radius of monitoring that you're subject to. It's a prosecution of the state, the entire state, whatever state you're in. I'm prosecuting the state of California, disbanding police agencies and sheriff's departments, all right, who I've been waiting for the time. All they're doing is sitting around waiting. All right, what is done in the darkness, first of all, that will never, in case you did not know, this is a truism. Let me teach you about life. What is done in the darkness will never remain in the darkness. It is always exposed. You're talking about what is Satan literally waiting around for the expiration date for what it has been doing amongst a people for a long time. All right. And then not only that, using everything against this demon-possessed entity to prosecute it. So while you want to engage in criminal conduct and the ongoing impunity that you demonstrate while you're engaging in that criminal conduct, I'm going to prosecute you with that as well. And this is the Upland Police, the San Bernardino County Fire Department, American Medical Response, criminal facilitation, monitoring with the Ontario Police, the same exact entity. Criminal summoning. And that is criminal summoning at Upland City Hall, where demons are pacing in and out. You see this female, she's stopping in her tracks. She's monitoring on her phone. That's facilitation, while American medical response, who have already heavily documented, those already documented are going to federal prison. American medical response constantly engaging in that pattern of conduct, which is an ongoing threat, while they're doing so under the fake sun, which is nowhere near the laundry room. All right, those minions that are inside of the Upland City Hall right now, federal prison. Period. Minions pacing in and out. They're all on surveillance cameras. More than one method of documentation, by the way. Federal prison. All right. The minions that are crossing path in American medical response that I've already documented, they're going to federal prison. Okay. This is the pattern of conduct. That's what American medical response engages in. That's how the system operates. All right, and you have what are demons that are pacing on both sides. This minion that's in front of Upland, this is a female. You see her consumed with her communication device. She's monitoring. She's under the fake sun, which, by the way, while that amplified audible activity is created. She enters right in on surveillance cameras to Upland City Hall, where they're monitoring. It is currently 9:05 a.m., capturing that iteration of P.O.C. That's called criminal summoning, and that is documentation as to the P.O.C. The San Bernardino County Fire Department, Molly Super, the Upland Unified School District, the Upland City Hall, Sammy's Market, which is over here on Arrow Highway, Sammy's Market number 5, which is over here on Euclid Avenue, the 7-Eleven, Upland Methodist Church with that kindergarten school and that fake church, the venue, the business plaza at 300 Euclid Avenue. They're all monitoring. I'm just giving you an idea as to all who is in relevant position, and expands even beyond that. Okay, you're talking about the entity that lives in relevant position. The address is 14 Arrow Highway, 22 and 34 Arrow Highway in Upland, California, criminal summoning. 477 Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, criminal summoning. All right, 323 Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, the people of the state. The law office of Brian Brandt, he's a minion, a third party, criminal summoning. The entity that's engaging in group stalking at Mark Grossman law office, he's engaged in criminal summoning. It's not just him, that entire building. You're talking about IHOP at 80 West Euclid Avenue, 80 North Euclid Avenue in Upland, California, criminal summoning. All right, they're engaging in what is group stalking at the Upland train station. Stalking, sitting around, maintaining presence in the parking lot, maintaining relevant position. An entity is pacing all around under a fake sun that remains directly over my head, covering the grounds with directed light, while demons are pacing all around me and surrounding with amplified audible sound of sirens. That is massive documentation in and of itself. That's a lot of people that can go to federal prison for that. This is criminal surveillance. So the entity isn't, and what I've exposed is what is necessary as a matter of justice. It's not enough that the entity itself, the sheriff's departments, the police, go to federal prison and lose their jobs and go to psychiatric wards. You're talking about what is getting to this system does not exist without the people of the state. They are equally engaged in this criminal system. And what I have documented is the stalker. The stalker are the people of the state. And I've documented them specifically. The ways in which they engage in the P.O.C. They're even using their businesses. They're using their company vehicles. They're using their commercial airline planes. And this is relevant to what you are also prosecuting. You are also placing it in federal prison. It is in violation of Title 18 as well. And the entity is using the people of the state to engage in this criminal system. It doesn't exist without them. And what I have shown is how you are documenting not only the state that's acting directly, group stalking is that which is done vicariously on behalf of that public entity, and the people of the state, as I have documented, I've gone to that end to secure that as a matter of justice and to provide that as a template for any American citizen. And you're talking about what is clearing out well, not just a jurisdiction, you're talking about what is clearing out an entity with regard to removing them off the streets, putting them where they belong. Psychiatric wards, federal prison, removing them from industries where they are no longer able to pose such a threat, while even relevant to the ways in which they're monitoring. Demons driving school buses, molesting me, stalking and monitoring me with the police. Okay, you are talking about the way in which I will prosecute that, and also what you will never be able to do, which is engage in that very job where you're engaging in monitoring, criminal monitoring, state surveillance and terrorism. A demon having no business in that position at all. All right, so like I said, this documentation, this prosecution exceeds beyond the state that's acting directly. Like I said, the police are in no way protecting. The entity is in no way protecting. You can't help it. The entity cannot help each other. You're breaking that system apart. And everything that they are doing, it's evidence against the entity. While the entity is stalking me by the police departments, by these ambulance and fire departments, it's evidence against the people of the state because they're stalking with that entity. They're all demons together, engaging in the same exact behavioral pattern, in the same exact environment, which is a scientific impossibility. They're all demon possessed, engaging in criminal summoning together. It is evidence against each other. And you are talking about who will also go to federal prison, the people of the state. And that's what I've documented. And that's what I do not want to be forgotten. And of course, I know that's not going to be forgotten. I'm specifically referencing that. That's why I've documented hundreds, if not thousands, of minions. Those who are continuously engaging in the P.O.C. in the city of Los Angeles, I documented their license plates. I documented their venue, their address, whatnot. They're still engaging in that P.O.C. Minions in Northern California that I have never crossed paths with, they're being documented. The state of California is going to be prosecuted. This is legislation that needs to exist, and this is what I'm advocating, because group stalking does not exist without the people of the state. The group stalking is underway by what are the people of the state who are engaging in this conduct on behalf of a government, who is engaging in this by virtue of what is the maintenance of presence through everyone, everywhere in the state, in a specific environment, and it's demonic. It's demonic. So you're not punishing them because they serve Satan. You serve Satan, you burn in hell, that's your prerogative. You're talking about what's the criminal conduct while you're a demon, which is a matter of terrorism, an unlawful conduct, very serious unlawful conduct. You want to engage in criminal monitoring and terrorize somebody as a demon? Oh, you're going to federal prison. You could sit in the psychiatric ward for that. That's what you'll do. And you'll do it as a police officer, as a sheriff department, as some ambulance technician, as some fire department personnel, as some demon sitting in an Upland City Hall or whatever city that you're in, as some employee sitting inside a Starbucks, sitting inside of any neighborhood library, sitting inside of any kindergarten school, any church, any market or grocery store, wherever it is that you live, you have no shelter from that prosecution at all. And that is the system of group stalking and monitoring, and understand that that system, which is entirely malicious, designed to surround that American citizen in the same way you're going to surround that entity with that legislation and provide no escape from that justice at all. Okay, it's currently 9:11 a.m. and that is American Medical Response sounding sirens under the fake sun, which, by the way, as I capture, is nowhere near a laundry room at Mercy House at 45 South Bonneview. And in that regard, this is why you document, because I'm documenting those minions who are going to federal prison, who were having a field day under the fake sun yesterday at off of Bonneview and State Street and Hope Boulevard and Mission Avenue. That whole little area documented. That's P.O.C. And it's currently 9:11 a.m. All right, showing you what is the fake sun that's over me at the Upland Veterans Center. Excuse me, the Upland Veterans Monument in between the Upland City Hall and the Upland Public Library. And then I enter the Upland Public Library. This is 10:01 a.m. At 10:01 a.m. yesterday, I'm standing in front of the bathroom at 45 South Bonneview in Ontario. The fake sun is right over my head as I'm standing in front of that bathroom. And that is not anywhere over the roof of the Upland Public Library. And this is capturing what are a bunch of demons who are group stalking, including Sheena, Cindy, monitoring in relevant position, and doing so in what is directed light. This is federal stalking by an entity in the private space. They're stalking, monitoring in the bathroom. They're doing in concert on behalf of the entity, the Upland Police Department. This is ongoing state surveillance, and you have what is the impossible presence of a light source, which is not possibly the sun. That is the evidence of what are a bunch of demons who are stalking you. And this is criminal monitoring while demons are stalking. This is the state system in operation. So that's why I'm able to capture what is the sun that's over my head while I'm showing you what is directed light that's inside of the building. But yet while I'm standing at the Mercy House at the same exact time 24 hours ago, the fake sun is directly over my head. That's necessarily termed the fake sun, because that's not possibly the sun. It's not the natural environment. And in addition to that, when I came to the Upland Public Library yesterday and at 12 p.m., when I'm across the street and I'm showing you what is that light source that's over my head that is nowhere over the roof of the Upland Public Library. It remained over my head the entire time as I'm at Mercy House, get on public transportation, and then arrive in the city of Upland. This is the stalking that Sheena is engaged in. Sheena is the Asian female whose license plate I have documented many times. She's engaged in criminal summoning while I'm subject to that outside of the venue of the Upland Public Library, in addition to what is Kristen and Cindy. These are the minions that I can see in relevant position, but you have what are all of the employees who are monitoring, and they're engaged in criminal surveillance with the entity who is nothing other than engaging what is coming into the library to engage in ongoing criminal stalking. This is what group stalking is. And they're doing it in that environment. It's 10:04 a.m. All right, this is a demon you see pacing down the stairs. She's doing so while I'm taking pictures. She's crossing path, engaging in activity creation. What you'll also see is the light activity. You can see the staircase and the you can literally see the shadow of the steps. It's appearing on the ground on what would be, with regard to direction, it would be the south side of the, the west side of the staircase, where these demons are pacing all around. Upstairs they're walking. These are demons that are pacing, and they're doing so in engineered light. They're a bunch of cockroaches. That's what the demon possessed are. And showing you what is their element that they're engaging in this criminal conduct. And they're a bunch of psychopaths. When you're understanding what the environment that they're doing and what they're doing to you and you don't even know it, this is what they are. They're a bunch of cockroaches. And they're engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking all day long. It is currently 10:05 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, it is 10:06 a.m. and that door slamming you hear, this is what they engage in frequently to engage in stalking with audible activity. All right, and they do so while they are aware, demons knowing exactly what you're doing on a communication device, knowing what you're doing physically, and it's a method of what are demons who are engineered light stalking with noise. All right, so I just want to be clear, this is what they're doing all day. That's Casey, Sheena, Cindy, a bunch of demons slamming doors, which is amplified noise and engineered light. Cockroaches. And they're violent sex offenders. It's 10:06 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, these are demons who are pacing around in engineer light, also stalking in the bathroom. Very demented characters stalking in bathrooms. This is the state of California. This is P.O.C. Oh, sorry. It is 10:08 a.m. Alrighty, and this is, again, federal stalking by entity in a bathroom. They are literally walking around, pacing around, stalking with noise while they are hovering over it, aware of what you are doing physically and on a communication device. And then those demons who are molesting with light, okay, it's stalking with directed light, and then they are stalking on behalf of an entity that is following around in helicopters and in police vehicles, stalking in bathroom stalls. Those demented creatures, those cockroaches, those freak weirdos, violent sex offenders stalking in the bathroom. It's 10:08 a.m. All right, and this is the employees who are monitoring with this minion. This is Sheena. She's group stalking. She is monitoring in a bathroom, which is a sex offense, a very serious one on behalf of the state, engaging in federal stalking. And so is Cindy and Kristen. These are the minions that are in relevant position monitoring while these demons are entering and exiting the restroom. And doing so in concert with the minions of both, let me be clear, sex offenders in relevant position, group stalking of the male gender as well. They're demons alike. Entirely demented minions, right? This is 10:09 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it's 1:49 p.m. Sounding helicopter activity while the sex offenders maintain presence and directed light inside of the Upland Public Library, bursting into the bathroom, by the way, for purposes of crossing path on behalf of that's the Upland Police, stalking, while the demons remain present inside of the library, stalking on behalf of that entity. And the sex offender is engaging with a stalking, literally physically stalking. They're maintaining presence while they're sitting in the library. Thank you. Cindy, right? Yeah. Okay, Cindy is engaging in terrorism with the Upland Police, who's amplifying helicopter activity inside of the library. This is terrorism, and then these demon-possessed group stalkers are stalking in the bathroom as well. Like I documented earlier, I want to make sure it's 1:50 p.m. Fake sun is directly over my head as I step out and get this this demon who is stalking in the bathroom. And this is entrance on behalf of an entire entity. All right, this is the government, this is the state that I'm capturing stalking day and night by helicopters, a bunch of demons molesting with directed light, a bunch of demons stalking with ongoing noise, while an entire environment that's a scientific impossibility remains around you at all times, and then they're stalking in a bathroom with real-time knowledge of the exact movement that you're engaging in. That's the conduct that entrance is pursuant to that ongoing knowledge, okay? That entity is sounding helicopter activity as I then walk out, and Cindy, who is group stalking, she's a violent sex offender, who is monitoring with the demons who are engaging in relevant positioning with her. This is criminal surveillance, and criminal surveillance is ongoing inside of the bathroom. That is criminal surveillance by a very violent sex offender. That is the Upland Police Department, by the way. And this is the ongoing documentation of what is the Ontario Police Department. This is state surveillance. I'm showing you what is the same exact pattern of conduct in the state of California everywhere that I'm going. All right, you have Upland PD, which is the impossible audible activity. You're either conceding that you are hovering over the Upland Public Library by helicopter, which I've also shown you in video. All right, and you're also understanding what is also demonic, the amplification of what is audible activity that is not even actually occurring based on what it is that you were looking at. As I've shown you, you see the train, it's actually not even the train that's sounding that loud volume of like a train horn. It's the work of Satan. In the same way I'm showing you what is directed light, it's the work of Satan. What's the maintenance? How are you keeping what is a fake sun in violation of scientific facts as to how the environment operates? It's the work of Satan. And these are demons engaging in surveillance and doing so in plain sight. And as I recited their names, Sheena and Cindy, engaging in what is stalking, doing so at the Upland Public Library. Their work schedule is literally proof of presence and ongoing facilitation by a state that's engaging in that life-threatening surveillance and sexually violent surveillance with ongoing knowledge that it's being documented by an American citizen who has a right to not be subject to it in the first place. You're talking about what is the grounds of federal prison. All right, and that helicopter activity, as I'm documenting, as I remain subject to it, that is the grounds of federal prison. Okay, this is the ways in which an entity is posing an ongoing, impermissible threat to the life of an American citizen on behalf of a bunch of demon-possessed police departments who are engaged in obsessive stalking, including into the bathroom, while they are engaged in and focused on concentrating on what's going on with my panties. Okay, when they're down and they're stalking with ongoing noise, which is demonic. That's how you're getting the combination of what is demonic and sexually motivated, all of that combined together when the government is engaged in this satanic targeting system and it's occurring in a bathroom. All right, and they're all on surveillance cameras inside of this venue, the Upland Public Library. They're all sitting in here in engineered light. This is not the sun, and that's not sunlight, and they're a bunch of violent, sexually violent psychopaths stalking. So I want to be clear, and that's why I'm so vivid in my speech, because that's exactly what they're doing, and I'm not going to mince words with what is that violent sex offender that are the demon-possessed, and they're engaging in this criminal system at the Upland Public Library. And those very demons, as I'm documenting, for example, as I exit, and they're molesting me with directed light, those demons whose license plate I'm reciting on Euclid Avenue, they're a part of the ongoing sex offense. The demon-possessed are maintaining ongoing corporate knowledge. They know I've walked into the bathroom. They know I've pulled my panties down. They know what's going on while I'm in that private space, in the same way that a demon is entering in on behalf of that and whole entity who is also sounding helicopter activity, who is engaging in this conduct. That entire entity, the same demons whose license plate I'm reciting, and I'm speaking about molestation, that demon, that's a demon they're molesting. They're monitoring while I'm in the bathroom inside of the Upland Public Library. So I want to be clear on that. It is 1:53 p.m. Joy is group stalking. She's a violent sex offender. This is the Asian female. She's going to federal prison. And on multiple grounds on multiple grounds in addition to what I just documented the other day when she's continuously showing up to work, posing an impermissible threat, while she's engaged in surveillance and violent sex offense at the Upland Public Library. That's the reality of what she's doing. And she is on another day engaging in and facilitating that criminal conduct for which she has no legal right or argument in federal court. It's 1:54 p.m. It's P.O.C. It's criminal summoning. It's 4:49 p.m. The fake sun remains over the same exact roof of Upland Public Library. Cindy's engaged in criminal monitoring. Kristen's engaged in criminal monitoring. You have what is the minions that are in relevant position, group stalking inside of the library. You have what is the directed light that's on the circulation desk. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, so what I want for you to remain cognizant of, this same obsessive stalking, which is illustrated while an entity is sounding sirens with simultaneity to what I'm doing inside of a building. I'm inside of the library, and you have that ongoing pattern of stalking. Thank you. That's Kristen, who's engaged in criminal summoning. You have the same pattern of stalking with the audible activity, which is amplified inside of the library, while that which is not possibly the sun is remaining over the roof. Okay, and if that's not possibly the sun, that's also not sunlight. This is the same engineered light that I'm documenting everywhere that I go. Okay, and the people of the state who are sitting in this entirely terrorizing environment, an absolutely demented environment, okay, they're demented themselves, engaging in demented conduct together, while you have what is the pattern of that method of audible activity occurring while I am inside of the walls of the building. I just want you to be cognizant that is the same specific knowledge of where I am and what I am doing while I am in the bathroom, while I make any movements, while I pull my panties down, while I am in the private space of a restroom where I have every right, where an American citizen maintains the right of a reasonable expectation of privacy. This is not the case when you're subject to surveillance. That is ongoing hovering stalking. And these are psychopaths that are sitting around in engineered light. These are the demon-possessed. I'm taking their pictures. I'm showing you their faces. I'm showing you what they are doing. They're literally sitting around in a library stalking all day long on behalf of those stalkers that are sounding sirens with specific knowledge of where I am at as I am whatever location inside of the venue. They are stalking on behalf of that entity. Okay, so that's what I want you to be cognizant of.
When I'm documenting these minions, when I'm outside and I'm talking about that's a demon, they're molesting me with directed light, those demons then walk into the bathroom on behalf of that government. That's what's going on. That's the perpetual sex offender. That's why they're going to federal prison. Okay? You have zero right to be at what you want to call your job, because that's what Cindy's doing. She's standing in directed light while the entity is terrorizing an American citizen who's subject to surveillance, which she is facilitating, while she is intentionally present as a demon, creating audible activity and pacing around in that engineered light. Now, these demons formerly thought that they have cover because you're at work. Nobody knows that you're stalking. Nobody knows that the state is stalking. Nobody knows that that's not even the sun that's remaining over your head, nor is that sunlight. You don't know anything about all of that that's surrounding. But this is not the case. In addition to that, they also know that they're being documented. That's also why you're subject to federal prison. All right, and they are engaging in what is not only that, facilitating that ongoing terrorism. You're subject to what's an entity stalking you while you're inside of the building. As I documented earlier, the entity stalking with the method of helicopter activity. The same conduct that the entity is engaging in day in and day out, stalking me by helicopter, amplifying the sound of helicopter activity inside of the library. While you, going by the name of Cindy and Joy and Sheena and Kristen, are at work, you are engaging in what is conduct which will result in your going to federal prison. That's how I want to lay that out. I want to make sure that's crystal clear. This is the pattern of conduct. There is no legal argument. It is criminal facilitation while you are on or off the job. Okay, so I just want to point that out. This is that level of sickness that's literally in operation as I walked out on security cameras. And I'm surrounded by a bunch of demons. This is terrorism. Surrounded by what is amplified audible activity of the sound of sirens. That is terrorism. While I am being molested with what is engineered light. That is terrorism. While that which is not possibly the sun remains directly over the roof of the Upland Public Library at 4:49 p.m. The fake sun is over. That's not possibly the sun, and it's there over my head at the same exact address before 10 o'clock in the morning. And not only that, that's in direct violation of what would even be the possibility of that being the sun when I am 24 hours ago remaining in the city of Ontario. That's terrorism, by the way. Okay, all of that is relevant to what is prosecution. And I'm only using Cindy as an example because she's only one of many minions. Let me be clear, the surveillance cameras of the venues where an American citizen is subject to the pattern of conduct, that's documentation that belongs to the targeted individual. It's another method of ongoing audible activity. All these demons using the library's resources. All of these minions who are documented even outside of what is the library itself. The minions that are in the Upland City Hall, the Upland City Council, they are engaging in what is criminal summoning. They're monitoring together. They're aware of the fact that I'm in the bathroom with my panties down. This is the reality of that state surveillance system. That is that unprecedented level of violation and terrorism and surveillance that the state is engaging in. And this is the Upland Police that's engaging in that. I want to document the same Upland Police who I capture in video, stalking me by helicopter, engaging in that while they are, again, that's evidence against the people of the state. The Upland Police are already dealt with by matter of evidence, okay? So you're talking about getting to the people, and they are not going to escape federal prison. And this is why, okay? It is currently 4:57 p.m. This is P.O.C. Attention to the still images that I capture. This is demonic pacing, and you see who was engaged in a lot of that, which I'm capturing. This is Kristen. This is the name that she told me, and who she is and her actual name, if that is even her name. This is again, relying upon what a minion is providing. But like I said, it's not going to remain a mystery. I'm going to prosecute this Caucasian female who is a demon-possessed group stalker. They're monitoring on the venue of the internet, stalling the Wi-Fi, while they were also monitoring with regard to stalling the ability to utilize the internet while I was uploading my documentation all day long, and also doing that while I am using my phone and stalling the Wi-Fi and it's a method of stalking with activities. So, for example, as I engage in new conduct on the computer, if I click on something while I'm engaging in an ongoing rhythm, for example, reviewing videos, I'll click on a video, I'm looking at a video, I'm looking at what are additional videos that I added as, for example, the end screens. This is what I'm doing as I'm also tracking that with my website. I engage in something new, okay? So I'm changing my rhythm as I engage in something new, such as editing one of the end screen videos that I've selected previously. That's a new movement.
That's new activity, in other words, rather. And as I engage in that, they're using stalling the Wi-Fi as a method of stalking with activity creation. This is ongoing harassment by an entity as well. And I'm documenting who was a demon. Kristen, she's remaining in close proximity, stalking in the path while she is using that employee side entrance door where they are pacing in and out. All right. This is Kristen that's engaging in that. That's also harassment. It's entirely demented conduct. Demons pacing all around you all day long. And then they're doing it pursuant to what you're doing. They're doing it in engineered light. It's all about what you are doing as you're, this is all manner of what is entirely psychotic conduct by a bunch of stalkers who are doing so on behalf of the state. That's also sending helicopter and sirens where you're at, who are also stalking you in the bathroom and doing that same exact demonic behavioral pattern while your panties are down in the bathroom. So I just want to be clear. This is what Kristen and Cindy, these demons who you see, the minions that are in the directed light, this is relevant to what is ongoing harassment by an entity who is, that's the very monitoring conduct, by the way, and also using that P.O.C. while they're monitoring on the venue on the internet. With regard to what is harassment, just stalling your ability to publish, stalling the ability to watch an ordinary video. It's no malfunction. They're monitoring on the internet. Okay. It is currently 5:51 p.m. This is P.O.C. It is 6:50 p.m. 7XDZ 464, 4RNE 4730, 8ADY 820, 8WLB 357. 8MGE 321, 96492L2, 6AXG 214, 3VWG 018, 8XEP 048, CC 96A79 paper, 8NWL 941 I believe, 7ZTX 630. 8DID 680. License K648DO, 8EZF 814, 26131 and 2, 7VMP 277, 7VXE 573, 8KRF 838, 7JGZ 564, 18339G3. I'm documenting what our sex offenders are all molesting, and their sex offenders monitoring while my panties are down while I remain inside of the library today. License 9BAR 828. License. You're understanding what is one, it's a single group acting on behalf of the state. Part of that group just remain inside of the open public library around me all day long. The same sex offender. License 7VCF 855, 4ZPM 122. EGN 225, 8VJB 969, 8CNL 060, 814YH handicap. Eight ZDZ 271, 8DCW 938, X441PO, 8MEP 566, 8DGH 133, 8WMV 478, 8DWV 774, 1535754. That's Omnitrans, bus number 1364. It's 6:53 p.m. It is, by the way, 6:54 p.m. I did board Route 83. And as I'm documenting ongoing impunity by an entity engaging in this system of terrorism and surveillance. The entity 7VPT279, I believe. The entity engaging in an ongoing molestation, right? One minion after another. As I document license plate, just one touching after another, while they are all aware that they're being documented. This is employee 3339. The correct license is actually 7VPT219. I want to make sure I cited that correctly. And these are minions who are monitoring. 6:55 p.m. 8 ZAD 175, 6 TCG, I can't do the rest of them.
7th Street.
8 RRB 701. 8 CBG 246. 6 TCG 906.
6th Street.
7X83290, I believe. 8 CAD 175, in case I didn't read that one already. 8 CTN 155.
4th Street.
8 PPT 313. 84092A1. 6:58 p.m. 7MXS 542. 7UQJ528. We're at, in case you did not hear, we're at I Street, I as in Igloo, I and Euclid Avenue.
H Street.
7AWP074.
8th Street.
7FZE675. 8 ETP291.
8 P Street.
8 VPH 447, I believe.
Ontario Civic Centre Transfer
ASNL
Station,
867.
connecting to Lot 61, 83, and 87.
I'm at 7:01 p.m. Arriving at Euclid and Holt Boulevard. 7 GGU 123. 7 UZN 174. 7 WXS 437. 7 RCG 935. 8 GZN 047. 7:02 p.m. I'm gonna get off the bus now. 7 EZE 675. It's a pretty long red light. 78285C3. And it's 7:02 p.m. I'm getting off the bus now. Alrighty, it is 7:03 p.m. I'm at Euclid and Holt Boulevard, and this bus is bus number 1364, license plate 1535754. Loitering in relevant position, creating light activity at the bus stop now. 8TWG241, 8PYF937, 5THR097, 8ZBY735, and 7DFN794, 6SJA975. And let me show you the fake sun following back to Euclid and Holt Boulevard in perfect alignment with me in the same position it was as I exited the Upper Public Library. All right, license 5L16933, 5WYA647, 8UCR758, 9BAS793. And they're touching with directed light, and directed light is moving across the wall of REA money transfer. That's impossible light activity. They're all under what is an impossibility as what would ever be the sun. And this is a bunch of demons who are stalking together. It is 7:04 p.m. 8RTM 990, 7RRN536, 8T64730, 48870E3, 6DON619, 8JQK059. All of them stalking with directed light. Every single last one of them. All right, that's prosecution for terrorism, and they're engaging in terrorism with and on behalf of the Ontario Police Department and their demons. It is the admission of their condition. License plate 87687J3, 8HVH760, 0147, I can't really see the rest of that one, 7HLG821, 35506X2, 8HVM724, 7KRR649, 7TY, I can't really see that one, 7:05 p.m. I'm gonna cross the street real quick. I can't see the one. I think that's 7TYZ312. It's 7:05 p.m. and I'm walking toward the museum now. And again, pay attention to the images. This is very striking, right? What I continue to document. 48866Z2. Not only is the fake sun in a position, you're paying attention to duration of time, what the entity suggests with this conduct with this fake sun, as though the sun would be present at the same intersection across the street from where it is over me this morning, where the Ontario police are present pursuing a criminal summoning because they're stalkers and they just wanted to come in and be a stalker in my face. That's a means of what is harassment. Pursuant to criminal summoning, grounds of federal prison, by virtue of being a stalker and monitoring while you're the police, federal prison, and you're engaging in what is terrorism as a demon-possessed stalker, federal prison. And doing so while you're opposing an impermissible threat, you're monitoring my documentation, federal prison. You have also engaged in repeated acts of kidnapping, federal prison. You are also facilitating criminal monitoring amongst the people of the state, federal prison. Anyway, the entity is engaging in what is conduct under this fake sun that's in alignment with me at Euclid and Holt as I'm arriving at 7. Who's that? Federal prison for Southwest Airlines. All right, Southwest Airlines employees, officials, subject to federal prison. They're engaged in criminal summoning right now with Ontario Police. Who is at the parking garage? So we'll go get that right now. KEW4841, that's a New York license plate. They're engaged in criminal summoning.
They're stalking with the Ontario police under what is the fake sun. And so this is my point. The fake sun is at the same intersection across the street from the museum where it was this morning at 7:30. All right, where Guerrero and Galban are group stalking under that fake sun, which is nowhere near, by the way, the laundry room, the property over me at the doorway of the Mercy House, aiming any sort of sunlight through that doorway, which sunlight is not bouncing off of and reflecting in perpendicular directions and creating any light on the wall. All right, that's that demonic environment, speaking to what is criminal monitoring. And that's exactly what you see under the side of that walkway of the Ontario Museum where Galban is group stalking, engaging in the very act of criminal summoning, just like you hear right now. That's why they're going to federal prison. That's exactly why in Southwest Airlines is engaging in criminal summoning with them. You're going to be prosecuted, and the people of the state are not escaping federal prison. Southwest is engaging in what is criminal monitoring, crossing path facilitation. Ontario Fire Department, stalking in the path of the Ontario Police as well. These are demons patrolling with fire trucks. That is UPS that's hovering. The first one you heard was Southwest Airlines, and you saw their satanic ritual of stalking with plane after plane while I was at Mercy House. You saw that. That was a scene out of hell. That's terrorism. That's why you document that. Understand the psychopaths. They're going to psychiatric wards and they're going to federal prison. And they will be coming from what our companies identified as Southwest, Delta Airlines, snatching those criminals out of those positions, also relieving the public from being exposed to such threats while they're engaging in this lawlessness on behalf of the demons that are the Ontario Police Department, who are group stalking. B&G Plaza engaged in criminal summoning. Center Ice Skating Arena engaged in criminal summoning. Every license plate that I just recited, they're engaged in criminal summoning. While I stand there at that intersection, the Ontario police are aware of where I'm at, and they're in relevant position creating light activity, demons stalking with light. That's exactly what they're doing. And you're going to prosecute the people because they're monitoring together. Andy's Burgers, they don't have, boy, they're so heavily documented. They're engaged in criminal summoning right now. Alrighty, this is vehicle 1883, Ontario Police. The next plane flying right over is FedEx. Criminal summoning. Ontario Fire Department, 1576204, criminal summoning. Ontario Police Department, 1532793, criminal summoning. Sitting in their vehicle in the fake sun, monitoring me while I'm at the intersection of Holt and Euclid. It's P.O.C. Hi.
Hi.
Everything okay?
Yeah, you just can't pass my vehicle, okay?
Meaning I can't walk where?
Can't walk inside.
I can't walk on the sidewalk?
Nope. Not
Why?
pass my vehicle.
Why?
Because we have an investigation going on.
Oh, in the parking lot of Center Ice?
Oh, God. Complicated.
You mean over here?
You cannot go past my vehicle on this street. Okay? You can go in the parking lot.
Oh, maybe you don't know what that's called. I was being specific. That's called Center Ice. That's what you're talking about, right? This area right here?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was referring to. Thank you. What's your name?
Sandoval.
Sandoval?
Sandoval.
Oh, Sandoval. Sandoval. Okay. What's your badge number, Miss Sandoval?
19955.
19955? Okay, thank you. And again, that's vehicle number 1883. Sandoval hops out of her vehicle with urgency. She's monitoring. This is criminal summoning. She's under the fake sun and referring to what is her criminal act of surveillance as an investigation. They are stalking in the path with light. They are stalking in the path under the fake sun. They are creating light activity while the entity is patrolling by planes. That was specifically UPS, FedEx, and Southwest Airlines, hovering right. It's the exact same pattern of conduct under what is the fake sun at 7:10 p.m. Hi, Minion. That's P.O.C. Oh, okay. Sure. What's your name?
Officer Perez.
Officer Perez? Yes. Thank you, Perez. What's your badge number?
Go, man.
Yeah, sure. What's your badge number? Excuse me, Perez, what's your badge number before you run away? Do you have a badge number, sir? Oh, okay. This is another police officer engaging in criminal conduct, avoiding providing what is publicly available identifying information while he's monitoring with Sandoval. I did capture that minion's image. They're all around in what is directed light. This is, again, criminal surveillance, which they are referring to as what is an investigation. All right, and they're engaging in what is relevant positioning. I want to be clear. As I began walking down the street, they start sounding sirens, which is another iteration of criminal summoning, using sirens, using lights, and doing so while they are monitoring under the fake sun, okay? Pulling out police tape is called relevant positioning. That you can pull out whatever you want. They pull out their police lights. This is the Ontario Police Department that's stalking by helicopter day and night. And you're looking at what are the tactics are a bunch of minions who are group stalking. Sandoval, She's going to federal prison. License 1490758, that's Ontario Fire Department, criminal summoning. Perez, that doesn't want to provide his badge number? I'm not in the tape.
We're about to close it.
Okay, that's fine. Want to give me your badge number?
Already did.
No, not you, Sandoval. You're fine. What's your badge number, sir?
20,000.
20,000?
Yep.
And what's your name, sir?
Gibson.
Gibson? Thank you, Gibson. What about your partner? He seems shy, bashful. You don't want to give me your badge number? You're proud to serve, right?
Damn, get out of the tape.
Sure. You could have told me your badge number when you said all that. What is it?
Can you move
Oh,
on?
sorry, I didn't see. What is your badge number, Perez? Is there a reason why you don't want to give your badge number? They refer to that as what is consciousness of guilt under the law, which you're in clear violation of. This is a minion. I captured Perez's images up close. His mug is captured on camera while he's group stalking. All right, license plate. Let me get these minions over here. They put up tape real quick as I start walking down the street, start sounding sirens and patrolling by commercial airline planes. Okay, this is the people of the state center ice arena. Everybody in that mug, federal prison. Okay, 8SDP 537, American Medical Response, criminal summoning. 8SDP 537 is engaged in criminal summoning. That is AMR that was already sitting in the parking lot. They were sitting there, and now they're sounding sirens as they drive out of the parking lot. They were monitoring the whole time. Okay, 1420228, criminal summoning. XR440, I believe, criminal summoning. And so what you want to pay attention to is that they're calling something an investigation while they have people over there within the tape, which they want to make sure that I'm outside of, because remember, I'm the one that's documenting. There are minions that are inside of the tape over there standing around talking, chit-chatting while they're quote unquote investigating. Okay, I want to be clear, they can call it whatever they want. They can even pull out a body out of center ice. They're monitoring with the people, and this is criminal summoning. While those demons open the center ice arena door, directed light is moving across the doorway. Those are demons that are monitoring. But like I said, I've already documented heavily what are the people of the state. Hey, minion, do you know what happened here? Thank you. Criminal summoning. He's group stalking, literally coming to be in alignment with me while I'm capturing images under the fake sun. This is the minion right here at the parking lot. It is currently 7:14 p.m. This is the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario Fire Department who are engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking day and night, calling what is criminal surveillance and investigation while they are stalking under the fake sun, creating light activity as the demons that they are, and doing so with the people of the state, okay? That's what's going on right now. And this is what is always the case. It does not change whatsoever. This is license plate X844A0, criminal summoning. That's federal prison. License plate. Let me get these. 82871D2, federal prison, criminal summoning. All right, and it is, I can't see that fire truck, but this is the Ontario Fire Department. They're heavily documented. They're facilitating minions in relevant position. They're stalking me all night long while the entity's flying over me by helicopter. All right, and these minions are now using their vehicles patrolling. This is the significance. While they're moving their vehicles, they're patrolling, monitoring with the police. So I just want to be clear on that. That's the significance of moving their car. Remember, it's activity creation. And they're under the fake sun where the entity is keeping a fake sun over me at this plaza in the morning. I was here at 6:30 in the morning yesterday. The fake sun, as I look at it, as I'm talking to Sandoval, as I'm showing you what is the fake sun that's over me while I'm at the same location, as though the sun is setting while I'm on the same street, which would be Transit. I'm walking down Transit in order to get to what is the bus stop where I'm at. That is the entity's fake sun that is moving, not over Rich's 2nd and Drury and Lone at that intersection. It's certainly not over 7th Street. Look at the timestamp, okay? Because I've been in Chino, California on 7th Street documenting the Chino Police Department. The entity's acting like the fake sun is setting in alignment to me on 7th Street in Chino. Not when I'm on Transit in Ontario, California, after leaving Upland Public Library, where that fake sun was in perfect alignment, aiming light into the entrance doors, underneath the circulation desk. That's engineered light, stalking with light, as also I captured it remaining over the roof, which was before the 12 o'clock, which I arrived yesterday. And there's no sun over the roof of the Upland Public Library while it's over my head, while I'm inside of the laundry room of Mercy House, while I'm standing in front of U-Haul and the Ontario police are flying around me, stalking with helicopter at 11:09 in the morning. It's not over Upland Public Library, but that's the case when I enter, when I'm there at 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? These are demons who are stalking. Understand what they're calling criminal surveillance. They're calling it an investigation. That's why this demon Perez, who doesn't want to provide his badge number, I don't need it. Their entire police department is going to be disbanded. I want you to understand and witness the personality of what are criminals, who get no respect, no treatment, no special treatment under federal law. Monitoring by the Ontario Fire Department, directed light while they cross path with a fire truck, and there's no sunlight over here. 1332569, demons. Federal prison. All right, they're group stalking. These are demons that are group stalking using fire trucks and police vehicles. That's what's so pathetic about them. All right, and that's exactly what they were doing this morning. They're doing so with the people at 7:17 p.m. And this is exactly why you're talking about what is federal prison. Alrighty, I want to also, again, I want to make sure, I want to highlight what they did. The moment that I started walking in this direction, in order to document, which the entity knows that I'm documenting, they immediately started sounding sirens. They have been in relevant position, just sitting in the middle of the street creating light activity. The moment that I started walking toward them, they start sounding sirens. FedEx, Southwest Airlines, and UPS engaged in patrolling by commercial airline plane. The fake sun is in movement, keeping in alignment with me, and they immediately begin to tape off, trying to tape off the area, creating a scene. This is how the entity, this is how the entity that's acting directly, police, fire, and ambulance, this is how they engage in group stalking. This is the system. And by the way, AMR that was sitting in the parking lot just drives through, sounds their sirens, and drives onto Hope Boulevard. Hi, let me get this family full of minions. This is a minion that is sitting behind. You need to park. Oh yeah, you've been sitting here patiently waiting, parking. She's monitoring. This is a method of surrounding. Okay, she's monitoring with a car full of children. She's monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. License plate 9AQX336. Alrighty, license 7LGE191, 6MCS 178, 8HMZ 440, 7UEU 611, 5CDW 695, 8NFU 554, criminal summoning all of them, 8MSS 600, 8FNB 983, 8EGX 144, 7NHZ 882, 8ZKS 931, 52805B2, 8H15379. I also want to speak to what is the entity engaging in. They're stepping out. Where I'm standing in the parking lot, these minions that are monitoring together, so a method of what is stalking me in the parking lot where I'm literally standing in a parking spot, they are coming out and standing in relevant position, group stalking, and their form is, oh, what's happening? Looking down the street instead of, they're looking down the street as though they're surveying what's going on. They're monitoring together. It is literally the creation of a scene where the elements of monitoring are being maintained. And those are the group stalkers that are molesting with directed light, that are under a fake sun, that are stalking with noise, and they are group stalking. That's that ongoing hovering conduct. And that's also what that minion is doing with that van full of children, which is monitoring with the Ontario Police. 8FNB 983, the Ontario Police who are stalking by helicopter. They are literally out here as though they're doing anything. That's what I mean by psychopaths. Delusional, federal prison, entirely corrupt. 8MSS 600. Vehicle 1895, engaging in surveillance. 7KYY446 is engaged in criminal monitoring. All right, you've got 3 more vehicles over here at the B&G Plaza. 8TTG211. They're talking about they're engaging in an investigation while the plaza is full of vehicles. People are sitting at work. Andy's Burgers is filled with employees and patrons. And you got the liquor store. This is nothing other than what is the P.O.C. All right, you're not holding any sort of investigation while everybody is in relevant position. All they did was tape off the street as I became aware of the fact that they're present and went to go capture them, document them. Hello, minion. Alrighty, license plate 1547476, vehicle 1895, that's a Caucasian male. He's engaged in criminal surveillance. That's what they refer to as what is an investigation. 7GWF246, 7ZDZ684, 8TTG211, 1532798. That's Ontario Police. And these third-party license plates are engaged in criminal summoning. They're talking about they're engaged in an investigation where the plaza is filled with people who are here. So you're talking about what are you taping off when everybody is still here? They're at work. Everybody's in danger if it's such a serious investigation. They're engaging in criminal monitoring. 1576885, Ontario Police. 1591672, Ontario Police, vehicle 1031. And 1576885 is vehicle 1015. All right, this pasty white boy, he's monitoring with a communication device. He's monitoring with the Ontario Police. Doing so, also so is Omnitrans. 8TTG211, I think I read that one already. Want to make sure I get this license plate over here, this third party. License 6YBP675, 8CZN945, 7KYY446. Make sure I read that. 6YBP675, amplified audible activity. This is harassment while the Ontario Police and the Ontario Fire Department are group stalking together. And AMR, again, doing a shout out. They're engaged in surveillance all together. They were over here in relevant position while I was at the intersection. So then as I start walking down here to document them, they immediately then tie down with tape, yellow tape, in order to restrict my ability to get in there, which again, what am I going to do? I'm going to document all of them. That's why. And they're also engaging in what is creating a scene, substantiating why they were all over here. AMR was sitting silent in the parking lot. And then you're talking about what is driving out of the parking lot and sounding sirens while they're doing so. All right. And only doing so for that moment of what is crossing path as they drive into Hope Boulevard. No emergency. And you're talking about what is under the fake sun. It's never an emergency. It's criminal monitoring. It's called criminal summoning. That's what AMR was engaged in as you heard those sirens. Anyway, it's currently 7:24 p.m. And let me get these minions over here. The same female who was talking about blueberries, group stalking at the Ontario Town Square, and taking pictures of me while she's monitoring and engaging in criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department. She's here present, engaging in monitoring again, holding what is yellow tape while they're group stalking. Pay attention to the directed light on the center ICE Arena building. Pay attention to the environment. They're all standing around in directed light. Alrighty, what's your name again?
Huh?
What's your name?
My name?
Yeah.
Max.
Max?
Yes.
What's your badge number?
80505.
80505. Is Max your last name? Oh, okay, Max. Thanks, Max. She wanted to be captured, again, holding her phone again. As she knows that I documented the fact that she was taking pictures, so she intentionally holds out her phone again while I take pictures of her. This is the demon-possessed Ontario police who are engaging. Again, they call an investigation is referred to as what is criminal surveillance. All right, and this is the demon-possessed who are engaging in monitoring. Let me get, hold on. Max, no, stalking is rude. You're going to federal prison, Max.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm glad you're enthused. Keep that energy, okay? Keep that energy. And that's direct evidence of monitoring. Keep that energy. Keep it up. It is currently 7:26 p.m. That's Max that is engaging. And again, she's engaging in what is harassment while she's monitoring, and literally engaging in monitoring while she's in operation of her phone. And that's literally the monitoring conduct. And she's also holding it up, aware of the fact that I specifically noted that. So this demon then pulls out her phone again as I'm going to document her. Understand that. While she's also asking, what's your name? She's monitoring. 7HCM281, criminal summoning. 6VNH589, criminal summoning. 21946C3. 21946C3, criminal summoning. Okay, and that is also for what is also S.I.I.S Liquor, the B&G Plaza. They're all engaged in criminal summoning. I didn't go beyond the tape.
Yeah, you did actually. You went inside the tape.
Oh, well, you guys should tape down the sidewalk
Oh,
then.
shit. Let me fucking take
Why are you
it.
telling me? I'm not supposed to tell you how to do your quote-unquote job, which is stalking, right? You've got people that are over here engaged in business, right, on the job, but you're holding some sort of investigation. Did you guys just suddenly decide to hold that investigation while you guys were just sitting in the parking lot? You're a stalker, Max. You're pathetic. You need to get a life. You're pathetic. It is currently 7:27 p.m. They're talking about don't walk over there. The sidewalk that's the part where they forgot to clear it off for with regard to the tape, the yellow tape. So I'm walking on the sidewalk. But I want to be clear. They're engaging in what is suddenly, they decide to put up the yellow tape when I walk over here to document their surveillance. They were all sitting over here at this end of the street. Again, while I get off the bus, fake sun's at that intersection. I don't remain at the intersection document. Okay, I start walking down toward the museum. And guess what I find? The Ontario police engaging in criminal summoning. Stalking, sitting around in their police vehicles with light activity with the fire department. As soon as I start walking, they start sounding sirens, and then they start taping up the block real quick. Real quick. They forgot to tape up the sidewalk. All right, license 7VCA633. License 8Y79828, criminal summoning. Ontario Police Department, license 1532793. That's Sandoval. She's going to federal prison. She's the one that you see sitting in her vehicle. And that's when she's the one that is with the Perez who refuses to provide his badge number while he's stalking. Okay? A public employee, a public servant, supposedly, engaged in criminal conduct, though. It's 7:28 p.m. This is B&G Plaza. This is S.I.I.S Liquor, engaged in criminal summoning as well. They're monitoring with the Ontario Police, the Ontario Fire Department, and American Medical Response. It's 7:28 p.m. Stalking with light, license 6XBE719. They're sitting at the bus stop, parked in the red illegally, while the police are right here present, right? Monitoring with the police, in other words. Stalking in relevant position to S.I.I.S Liquor. What you'll see is a demon stalking with light. That's what that is. And they're doing so while I am inside of S.I.I.S Liquor. So that's what that is. That's why they're parked in front of what is the bus stop, where there is no parking, no stopping, and remaining there while I'm inside of S.I.I.S Liquor. And this is criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police, by the way. It is currently 7:32 p.m. They're also engaged in what is criminal summoning. All right, that's grounds of federal prison. It is 7:32 p.m. License 6STC002. All right, criminal monitoring. This is the entity engaged in criminal summoning while the Ontario police are here with the Ontario Fire Department stalking with lights. They're creating massive light activity while the people of the state are doing the exact same thing, group stalking with them. License 8YJL815, that's criminal summoning. Understand what I'm documenting as I'm reading their license plate. 6STC002. And this is the same Ontario Fire Department and Ontario Police Department stalking day and night by helicopter. Yes, they're going to federal prison. 7JBH182. The Ontario Town Square Townhomes, this is a community where the entity is engaged in criminal summoning. They're monitoring. The people of the state are monitoring where they live in relevant position. License 5WAM838. License plate 5SLZ024. 8BPR167, I believe. 6TJN163. 8VGV218. 8MQM366. 8KEW922, 7SQS578, UK-42-712. Criminal summoning for all of them. They're all monitoring group stalking with the Ontario Police Department. Amazon Prime group stalking with the Ontario Police Department. Crossing path on Hope Boulevard. Again, that is Max. That's engaging in surveillance, group stalking in the parking lot while that demon is sitting in the vehicle parked in the red, stalking in the path with light. Max is group stalking as well while I'm inside of S.I.I.S liquor, monitoring with the people. All right, monitoring while the Ontario Fire Department and the Ontario Police Department are stalking in the path at Center Ice Arena with light activity. Max is a demon. All right, she's engaging in what is demonic conduct, and she is also engaged in criminal monitoring. And this is the same police agency stalking day and night by helicopter, and Max is monitoring while the entity is amplifying plane activity, doing donuts in the sky right here over the B&G Plaza, not over Mercy House now. It's right where I'm at. Alrighty, that's where the entity is concentrating plane activity. In the same way, while I'm walking down the street toward the scene, right, this created scene that suddenly is taped off as I begin walking toward it, sounding sirens as I begin walking toward it. 6YBP675. This is the entity that's engaging in stalking by commercial airline plane and stalking by helicopter. All right, and this is literally the bare bones revealing of what is an entirely corrupt entity. Stalking by helicopter, and then as though you've got a scene. 21053H2, federal prison. That's vehicle 73987. That's American Medical Response. They're going to federal prison. All right, it's the same entity that engaging in what is group stalking on an ongoing basis. 7XAC307, and they're group stalking with the Ontario Police. They were literally sitting in the parking lot, and then they just drive out of the parking lot and turn on their sirens while they do so. All right, they were all over here loitering in relevant position, aware that I'm on the bus. This is why the entity keeps the fake sun and directed light around me. They're monitoring. I begin walking down the street, and that's what I mean. That's when, oh, we've got a scene here. We've got to tape off the street. Don't walk over here. All they're doing is stalking. You are stalking day and night by helicopter. Okay, so understand. I mean, whew, it's like beyond entertainment. It's preposterous. You're a criminal, and you're clearly that. 3FX809, and that's called the impermissible threat. Federal prison. Miss Max Sandoval Perez. It doesn't want to give his badge number. That's an additional federal charge. All right, and this is going toward what is the Ontario Police Department altogether, and those minions that I documented by name and or badge number and images. License plate 5WJT758, and they're engaging in what is the conduct of engaging in more threatening conduct because I documented their minions, the minions of that are Guerrero and Galban this morning. Group stalking. 8DFR176, 8FSE726, 8NMM050, criminal summoning. So all you have are these demons that are sitting around flashing their lights. AMR is just sitting there out the block of Lemon and Hope with flashing lights. The fire department is sitting around the tape with flashing lights around a skating rink. All right, they're doing an investigation while they're sitting around with lights on. That's all they're doing is light activity. 6EWH768, 8DFR176. You're going to federal prison. She's group stalking in the Andy's Burgers drive-thru with the Ontario Police Department. License, let's see. Let me see. 7EIR579. And I think I read these license plates already. I just want to make sure I get this. This is 1564885. Ontario Police. I want to make sure I have this. I think I do, but 1547476. I believe I got that one. That's vehicle 1895. Vehicle 1887 1532798. AMR is group stalking, just sitting over here flashing their lights. It's creating light activity. They're demons. Monitoring with the people of the state who are group stalking with them. Ooh, you're gone. Yes, you are saying you're going to federal prison. This is a minion. Showing you images of up close images of minions who are group stalking. Alrighty, that is American Medical Response. This is federal prison, license 37037F2, vehicle 90945. All right, surrounding the perimeter with light. This is the entity that's monitoring together, both directly and vicariously, doing so under what is engineered light, and doing so while the entity is group stalking by commercial airline plane, and doing so, this is the same exact entity that is stalking day and night by helicopter, the Ontario Police Department, demons that are sounding sirens, the American Medical Response, this Rancho Division American Medical Response company, using ambulances to engage in summoning. They're demons that stalk with light and amplified audible activity. The same with the demon-possessed Ontario Fire Department. The same with the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, who also use helicopters to engage in stalking. They are all together monitoring as one. Okay, that's what's going on right now. And I captured close-up images of American Medical Response who are monitoring. This is criminal monitoring, and it's entirely demonic. It is currently 7:40 p.m. You're going to pay attention again. Not only did I capture the fake sun as I walked down this portion of the street, I captured the fake sun as I was at the intersection. Captured the fake sun again. I've shown you what is the directed light that's underneath the parking garage before. They're monitoring. I showed you, as I captured images of the location over here, you're looking at what is engineered light that's touching all over the building of S.I.S Arena located at 201 Plum Avenue. You're looking at what is engineered light, the light source that the actual sun would never be present, visible over this area. This is where it's at 6:30 in the morning. That is non-movement of the light source. And that's in Ontario. Obviously, that's non-movement while it remained over me in Upland, California at the library, where, by the way, it was present when what happened at Mercy House. Where's the sun there? It's not over the no laundry room. It's not over the property when it's over me at 9 o'clock in the morning as I leave Ontario and go to Upland. They're stalking with light. They're stalking and they're monitoring. And doing so with the people of the state, coming out of all kind of corners to maintain presence, obsessive stalking. And that's what this minion is doing. I capture a close-up image of him. He's making sure that they remain present around me. That's what this minion is doing while he's walking his dog, stalking the path. This is that obsessive stalking conduct. Again, license plate of the fire department, 1576204 and 1332569. S.I.S Arena itself is documented engaging in criminal summoning, but it's beyond that. Like I said, I named all the apartment complexes, the entire venue of the plaza, Metro 102, the Ovid Family Community Library. The entity is group stalking. You're talking about Stereo City. You're talking about Down Hope Boulevard, the Auto Zone, the Wendy's restaurant, just the people of the state off of Pleasant. They're all monitoring, all of them. Okay, this spans a radius. This is criminal monitoring. And they're doing an investigation at the ice skating rink. License 8ZGV286, monitoring 7HGM784, 8WFS096. They're all engaged in monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. License 6YFU269. License 19618E3. See. 8 RRV 419, 8Z 871D2, 7EIL 902. Criminal summoning, every single last one of them. Monitoring while the entity is flying over by Southwest Airlines, UPS, and FedEx planes. They're group stalking. All the Ontario Police Department did was call it an investigation. It's the same exact pattern of conduct by a bunch of demons who are going to go to federal prison, including the Ontario Fire Department. License 7TKN 592. 6YFU269, criminal summoning. It's 7:43 p.m. Uh, 8F95851. I want to show you what is criminal summoning. This is exactly what Jason Knighton and Lester Keys and the Ontario Fire Department were engaged in on January 7, 2020. Okay, 6 days before the Ontario police engaged in kidnapping. By the way, pursuant to criminal summoning, the entity was stalked by helicopter while they were engaging what is standing around in the street with a water hose, putting out 0 fires. License 8WLW417, criminal summoning. 8RDV860, criminal summoning. 8XPN965, criminal summoning. All right, I documented this. This is how you're getting acquainted with what is criminal surveillance. Summoning, the entity is summoning itself. The people of the state are the entity. The entity that's acting directly through the fire departments of police and ambulances are monitoring directly. It is summoning itself, and it is the ongoing elements of monitoring. And there are a bunch of demons that engage. This is how that system of public corruption occurs. This is how it exists. This is what it looks like. 4002OV2, criminal summoning. Alrighty. It's 7:45 p.m. I think I got 7HGM 784, in case I didn't read those, but I think I got those on the side. It's currently 7:45 p.m. And what you're looking at are a bunch of demons standing around wearing fire department like uniforms. They're not doing anything. They're group stalking. DODGR79. That's what I mean by not doing anything. They're group stalking, standing around, investigating. That's what they call it. The fire department, the police department, and the ambulance are investigating. They're all investigating together. Around the skating rink, where the people are filled the skating rink, they're inside of the skating rink, and they're holding an investigation, taping down the property. I'm going to let you know what that is. That was a hurriedly created scene. Well, they were engaging in the same exact stalking, and they went on ahead, Perez and Sandoval went on ahead and put up tape. And then you have what is sounding sirens, which was stalking with audible activity. You're not sounding sirens. You're not going anywhere. You were already sitting there stalking. So I want to be clear. It wasn't these minions here. You have what is sirens that were created in the distance while they were already sitting over here stalking. It's for their criminal monitoring purposes. Okay? And then you have what is the fire department they were already sitting over here. You're talking about what is crossing paths. They're joined by the fire department, creating a scene. The elements of monitoring underway. I just want to point that out. And that is 8VRR916, criminal summoning. Group stalking with the entity that's sounding plane activity and doing donuts in the sky by plane. I'll show you that. Criminal monitoring. 82871D2, she's engaged in summoning, criminal summoning. This is how an entity is engaging in what is monitoring you. And the people of the state doing that with the police departments, the fire departments. Pacing around in the parking garage. Pacing around on the streets, that's BRG 4605, Arizona. 8VRR 916. That's one pacing, maintaining presence on behalf of the Ontario Police Department in the parking garage. What you're looking at is surveillance. That's what this demon's engaging in. This is direct light appearing in the parking garage. He's going to federal prison. That's license plate 8VRR916, opening up his door, talking about get the F out of here, opening up his door like he's going to hit me while he's monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. That's P.O.C. He's going to federal prison. All right, doing the same thing that I was doing, using my phone, but you're acting like you're going to hit somebody while you're stalking in direct light. You're stalking in direct light. Keep talking, Satan. Keep racking up those federal charges. Keep racking them up. Keep racking them up. Keep racking them up. Nobody cares. You're over here in direct light, group stalking with them. You and them are going to go to federal prison. That's what you need to understand. That's where you're going. You're an animal. They're over here pacing pacing around, walking up the stairs in the parking garage, group stalking, sitting in the parking garage. They're monitoring with the police and engaging with what is harassment while I document them. They're looking at, you're looking at what is directed light that fills the parking garage. All right, you're talking about what is the entities surrounding. These are demons that are manifesting light. All right, and that's impossible light that's occurring inside of the parking garage. It's not due to the fire trucks. License plate 8NNX419 or 8RNX419. Group stalking, that's ongoing harassment by an entity, including the Ontario Police, which is what they're doing all day long. You're talking about stalking with the police who are using helicopters, engaging in what is the provision of evidence of what is nothing other than criminal conduct, and you're group stalking with them. And then you want to wage a threat, like you're going to hop out of your car and do something. They're all going to federal prison. All right, that's called, literally, that's the conduct of that delusional psychopath that it continuously engages in stalking. You are fully caught. Your entire criminal act is fully exposed, and you're waging an impermissible threat while you're wearing a police badge that I've yet to take from you, okay? But you're talking about what is a psychopath that's engaged in ongoing stalking as you document that. Understand what Satan is doing, the cockroach that Satan is. All right, by the name of what is Perez and Max and Sandoval, all right? As I'm documenting them, that's just some of them. The minions that are sitting around stalking in American medical response vehicles, those demons are stalking up and down the street, capturing them in video, stalking with directed light, capturing in still images, which you can see the directed light, and that's what they're doing now, stalking. All right, none of them have any legitimacy whatsoever. The fire department, the police department, nor American medical response. That is blatant criminal conduct. That is an entirely unlawful threat with the demons that are the people of the state, documented engaging in the same exact conduct, stalking, molesting with directed light. You're not investigating anything. You're all demons stalking together. Understand that. All right. And this is clearly evidenced by my documentation. This is an entity that is fully surrounded, and they are literally fooling themselves. But I don't even think they're fooling themselves. They're literally just engaging in criminal conduct, and they're just mad as I just continue to document and publish it and document and publish it and document and publish it. All right, and it's going toward what is placement in what are psychiatric wards, placement in what is federal prison, and not getting out, and absolute removal permanently from fire departments, law enforcement, and anything to do with what is a medical profession. All right, with regard to demons such as American Medical Response, I've documented this in Los Angeles too. The CARE ambulances, stalking the Los Angeles Fire Department. It's the same exact pattern of conduct. Okay, and these are demons that engage in that. That's how you have what is identical conduct, pursuant to what are ongoing patterns. And it's not just the fact that you're sounding a siren. You're doing so while that ongoing environment remains. Impossible light activity, a fake sun over my head. Any sudden move that I make, 6JCE 907. Stalking with light everywhere that I go. Everywhere that I go. All right, that is relevant to what are demons. That was a grand scene of what is grounds of federal prison, as I documented those. Every single last one of them. Okay, that's a great big pool of defendants, and they're stalking and monitoring now, and engaged in what is maintaining that presence in alignment to where I got off the bus. Understand what they are doing, and so I opted to walk toward the museum, and as I did, I see what is the stalking conduct, which is criminal summoning. So while they're on that back street, they're engaging in facilitation. Every license plate that I'm reading, they're monitoring, and the Ontario Police, the fire departments and AMR are engaged in surveillance at the B&G Plaza area, and they're monitoring with the people. Understand what they're doing. They literally are the faces, while the police and the fire departments and the AMR are monitoring together, while the demons are just driving all around me and I'm reading their license plates. I literally walked down the back street and came upon their criminal scene where they're monitoring, and then all they did was put up tape and call it an investigation. That's what they call criminal summoning. That's the term for what is synonymous with what is criminal surveillance. All right, that's what they're engaging in. That's what Sandoval was doing, sitting in her car at that intersection, and then doing so with the people of the state. Federal prison for everybody, all of them. It is not just the police. It's not just law enforcement. It's not just the fire departments, because they're going too. And American Medical Response personnel. It's not just the entity that's acting directly. What I'm showing you is the people of the state are inherently engaging in what is that system that's relying on, they're engaging what is investigation around the people of the state. And you're investigating what? There's no scene that's closed off. You just didn't want me to walk down the street. And you also want to appear as though you were doing something as I came upon your criminal surveillance. That's what you're doing. And you're doing the exact same thing under all circumstances. Regardless, it's stalking with light. They're creating light activity in a relevant position. They're doing so under the fake sun that follows me to the intersection of Euclid and Holt. Euclid and Holt, I'm here in the morning, people. I captured the fake sun at 7:30 in the morning, where those demons, Guerrero and Galban, were present under a fake sun that is nowhere near the laundry room of what is it called? Mercy House. Okay, it's remaining over the doorway at Mercy House. So you have what is currently 7:53 p.m. and that's what I'm capturing at that venue where I'm present this morning. Well, the fake sun has gone down right now, but this is what I'm capturing while I'm walking toward that scene, and it's rapidly rising with creation of what is a scene as to what they're doing. Why are all those police cars there? Why are the fire trucks there? Why is the ambulance there? Okay, and they're monitoring. And they're creating a scene as they're monitoring, using literally the yellow tape, and then turning on their lights while you're surrounding the perimeter with light activity. That's literally what they did. And as I began walking, again, I'm pointing it out. So you'll know what's going on, what I'm doing as you're listening to it. Stalking with audible activity creation, creating that activity as I began walking toward them. As I was reading the airlines that were engaging with patrolling by, they're flying directly over the location where I'm at, just like they were at Mercy House, okay? Just like they are when I'm at Ontario Town Square, for example. The entity is hovering over as I'm walking towards sounding sirens, as I'm walking toward the fake sun following me, and directed light hovering all over the building. And that's what you're going to pay attention to. All right, and so that is the entirety of the entity that has no legitimacy whatsoever, while they are relying on what are their resources for criminal monitoring. And I've exposed every tactic, every single tactic that they're engaging in. So you're pulling out all your tactics, and it's all revealed as to what it is that you're doing. So that's why I'm making sure I get names. What's your badge number? And if you don't want to provide your badge number, that's just an additional federal charge that the whole team is going to take. All right, because this is an entity in addition to what is relevant to Perez himself. That is a demon. They're all demons. This is a demon-possessed population engaged in what is very serious criminal activity in the state of California. And it's also that which is done in concert with the people of the state, who are also subject to federal prison and psychiatric wards, okay, while they're prosecuted, and showing the ways in which they engage in criminal acts of obstruction of justice, who are in no way deterred as you are enforcing your constitutional rights and documenting a government that's placing you under surveillance in direct violation of the law. All right, engaging in what is the acts of stalking by helicopter, and then you are with a straight face engaging in a quote-unquote investigation. No, you're stalking with light, just like you are at every other time, including via helicopters. All right, and so it does not change when you are later, hours later, talking about you're engaging in an investigation. You are at all times corrupt. You are at all times stalking as well. All right, and that's established as a matter of evidence. And that goes for AMR, that goes for the Ontario Fire Department. By the way, and it's not just the Ontario Fire Department, I mean the fire departments, the ambulances, the police departments, the sheriff's departments. My documentation establishing the demon possession, their condition, and their criminal activity, all of it, every aspect of it. I mean, directed light while demons and police vehicles are stalking. I mean, under the fake sun while demons and police vehicles are stalking. I mean, stalking by helicopter while demons and police vehicles are stalking, okay? I mean, multiple shadows across the ground while demons and police vehicles are stalking, because that's exactly what you're doing in that environment. All right, it's criminal monitoring and it's demonic activity at the same time. The same with the fire departments. Literally, the rich, radiant, directed light while those demons are sounding sirens, stalking under the fake sun. Already documented. That does not change. You are the same demon-possessed entity that is monitoring while you're surrounding what is in relevant position, monitoring with the people of the state, who are engaging with this obsessive stalking, making sure they're manning the path in the parking garage, making sure they're manning the path on the sidewalks. They're engaging what is pacing while they then start getting in their cars. As I begin reading their license plates, they're monitoring together while they're at the same time talking about they're conducting an investigation. You're conducting an investigation while you have everybody that's still present inside. There was nothing going on other than the P.O.C. They can artificially engineer whatever information they want. That's what they do. That's why remember, this is the entity that engaged in a fictitious prosecution. They literally made up information. They made up warrants. They made it up. They said it existed, and in their universe, it existed because they said, and that's it. And I documented that. I documented your paperwork, your falsified documents. I documented all of that. This is the entity that has zero legitimacy and is with a straight face continuously stalking. That's why I get their names. While you also want to be rude while you're stalking, you want to refuse your identification while you're stalking, that's additional grounds of federal prison. You don't even have a right to be here. You don't even have any business in the position that you're in. That's why I'm documenting. Understand that. Okay, it's very relevant what Max is engaging in while she's holding up her phone, mimicking what she knows exactly that I documented about her, that she was taking a picture of me before. She goes out of her way to raise up her phone to do the same thing as she knows that I'm documenting her. And then she's also stating at the same time, what is your name? What's your name? This is a minion that's going to federal prison. All right, that's a psychopath. Understand the personality of Satan. Okay, that's a psychopath. That's the demon possessed. Who are present pursuant to what is hostility as I'm documenting their agency. I'm documenting their whole agency. Okay, and you're talking about what is just defiance. Engaging in conduct as though you are above the law when in reality you're not. You're not, and you never were. You never were. You never were above the law. You were never intelligent enough to even be in a position to avoid being found out or to avoid being prosecuted. They're not sharp. They're not sophisticated. They're not intelligent with their methods. All right. And they are surrounded with evidence. And then while they're surrounded by evidence, I'm also going to prosecute even further. They're going to sit in federal prison and psychiatric wards even longer. They will never return to what is law enforcement or the positions that they have now while they are continuously stalking and monitoring an American citizen that is documenting it. And they're monitoring that as well. Okay. You're talking about what is nothing other than a bunch of demons who are mad and then they just continue to engage in the criminal conduct. That's an unlawful threat. All right. So like I said, it's 7:59 p.m. And I just want to wrap that up. That's what the entity is doing. I'm currently sitting at the museum where they are monitoring at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. I believe I saw a third party over here. But, I mean, I don't even need to see them over here inside of the museum. They're monitoring while they're maintaining that scene around Center Ice Arena. So I want to be clear. You're not only documenting a license plate. You can document an address. You document whatever you have. The entirety of that entity is going to be prosecuted for that. That's a criminal act. And the criminal conduct of the police is directly relevant to the prosecution of the people with whom they are monitoring together. The entity is literally summoning itself. All right. It's summoning itself while it's engaging in criminal activity together. All right. And that is the literally the system and the very heavily used tactics. These are the same psychopaths that I'm documenting day in and day out, stalking with sirens, just sounding sirens everywhere that I'm at. And then you're just sitting around talking about an investigation. It's laughable. OK, it's literally laughable. You are stalking all day long, all day and all night by helicopter. You are stalking me, talking about an investigation. It's laughable. It's laughable. And that's exactly why they're going to federal prison. I'll be laughing on that day as well. And I mean that. It's 8 p.m. This is P.O.C. That's the entity flying directly over me at the museum. The Ontario Police, Ontario Fire, American Medical Response are group stalking in the path. It's 8:10 p.m. It's 10:21 p.m. The Ontario Police is flying around me in circles. This is a demon that's operating a helicopter. That's a demon that's operating a helicopter. Just like you heard this morning on my podcast, you heard a demon operating a body cam, using it as a method of ongoing audible activity, turning the body cam on and off. Why was he doing that? Why was he misusing his body cam like that? Because I was a demon creating audible activity and engineered light, while I was pointing out the fact that he's demon possessed. All right, a minion affiliated with the same police department is stalking in a helicopter right now. It's currently 10:22 p.m. P.O.C.